Hello and welcome back to Xpwaste, where stamina potions are just like coffee. I'm Michael. Oh, frick.
And I'm Birdfax. That's me.
That's
I was like, is this my cue? I don't know. I'm not 100%.
I forgot to tell you.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. We got it. We'll keep going. That's fine. That's good. It's funny.
If this is your first time listening to Xpwaste, thank you so much for checking us out.
You're welcome.
We are a old school Runescape podcast. We'll talk about kind of things happening in the game, any updates that occur, fun things that we like, very much tangent away from RuneScape. Maybe even talk about RuneScape 3. I don't know. But if you're not new around here, I have the one and only Birdfax, registered trademark name.
That's
with me. And he's going to be filling in for Oxie today because Oxie is still recovering from ankle surgery. But I have a theory.
A theory?
I have a theory. So not everybody knows this, but Oxie, he messed up his beard while he was shaving. He was trying to just trim it. And he kind of nicked it to where it there was a bald spot. So he just completely shaved his entire beard. He didn't have a mustache or a goatee or anything. He just
that is a
baby
decision.
face shaved it. Yeah, he just went for it. And so I have a theory that he tore his Achilles and scheduled his surgery so that he could have a month off of doing the show so that he could grow his beard back out without people seeing his baby face. Now, whether that theory is correct, it's yet to be
it remains
confirmed.
to be seen. If he comes back on the show and has some semblance of the full beard back, I think that basically means
confirmed.
You're just right.
Yes. So Oxie has not spoken out about this rumor yet, but I'm sure his publicist will get in contact with me once this episode is posted.
Very good.
For the time being, Birdfax is here. Do you want me to call you Birdfax whole time?
You can call me whatever. Aspar usually just calls me Bird because then it's one syllable instead of two.
Sure.
Whatever.
And you don't.
Whatever.
And you don't call him a guy named Spar.
No, because that's a lot of syllables. I can't do that.
A guy.
Admittedly,
named Spar. That's 5.
I frequently, not frequently, I've gotten better at it, but I used to call him by his actual God-given first name.
Oh.
Because we knew each other in high
show?
school. Yeah, on the show.
Gosh.
Usually I'd have to correct myself. I don't know what he probably fixed it in editing. He probably just got a different clip of me saying Sparry and moved it over.
Oh. Yeah.
But which realistically it's probably not that big a deal if our full names are out there.
I have my first name.
Yeah,
so
realistically, if people want that information, they're gonna find it. The internet.
Absolutely.
The internet doesn't care. It's out there somewhere. So I'm not
So what's your
super
first
worried
name?
about it, but
Just kidding. Just
Bird. Last name Fax.
Oh.
Obviously.
First name Bird, last name Fax. Where's the little trademark go in?
So the registered trademark, it isn't a part of my name, but in order to use my full name as my username, I made sure to register the trademark of the name Birdfax. So
That's amazing.
the actual.
Wait, did
story,
you actually?
No, I wish. I lied in college and told some people that I did do that, just to see what their reaction would be, and they were like, "Oh my god, that's crazy!" And I was like, "Yep, super crazy." Didn't do it. The actual story behind that is there was and kind of still is a trend to put the little trademark symbol in your name, and I used to play. Definitely used to play a lot of Rocket League. I don't play nearly as much anymore. But I encountered a guy that went by the name of Waffle Facts, and every time a goal was scored in the game, he would type out a fact about waffles. And I thought that was the most hilarious thing. So that forever changed my existence, and I became Birdfax because I just really like birds. Yeah. And I wrote up a script that made it so that I could press a button and it would automatically type a fact into the Rocket League chat. And I pressed that after every goal, and that's where it came from. And then
this man's whole existence.
Yeah, it's true. There was an IGN article about, I don't remember if it was Waffle Facts or Cat Facts, because they both kind of existed at the same time. But one of them got an IGN interview. And I was like, that's
What?
crazy.
Wow.
I assume the IGN writer like
They're just looking
played
for
a
something
match.
to write
They
about.
like played a match with him, and they're desperate IGN writers. So they're like, this is content, baby. But yeah, and then like the registered trademark thing is a lot of people put TM in their names, and I wanted to do that, but I was like, I'm going to be slightly different, so I put the registered trademark symbol instead.
Looks cool.
Yeah, I like it, and it also makes it so that when I'm making a username, like my RuneScape username, or since they changed like the usernames on Discord, I can just put an R at the end because the name just Birdfax is probably going to be taken like everywhere, always.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Wait, are you Birdfax R in game?
Yes, that is my main that is collecting dust. Birdfax TM is actually my group iron. And then I have an old regular Iron Man account, Birdfax C.
Copyright.
Yep.
Amazing.
That one is retired. It was just like a free to play iron because I just wanted to mess around for a bit. I just like got some stats, did all the free to play quests, and just like did a bunch of beginner clues.
Oh, okay.
That was all that I ever did on that account.
That's amazing. So we've been talking now for nearly 10 minutes.
Yep. That's how it goes.
And we need to tell people who you are. So there's some familiar names you may have heard, right? So if you guys listen to another podcast, then you probably already know who this is. But yeah, tell the people who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so my name is Birdfax. I am the co-host of the Xpwaste podcast alongside our host Spari. That's basically all I do. That's it. I used to
wake up in the morning and just podcast all day.
That'd be kind of cool, but no. I have a job. It sucks. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of my job. But I used to do the video edits for our podcast, but that takes way more time than I thought it would. So I have not done those as much.
I've got it down to a science, I think. Like it generally takes about twice the length of the actual episode. So 2 seconds of editing for every 1 second that we record.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 3, but generally it's 2.
I don't know if you ever watched any of the, you probably didn't, the video versions of the Xpwaste podcast that I made, but
I did.
Yeah, I put like actual production value into them for basically no reason because they're a podcast. Right. I probably should have stopped doing that, but part of it was an experiment just to kind of like learn how video editing software works. Yeah, I've considered going back and just like being a normal person and just, putting a mostly static video component on the podcast part just so we have the podcast on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Haven't done that yet. Maybe I got 4 days off, including today up to Wednesday. So maybe at some point I'll start doing some of that. But I've said that. You could ask Spari. I've said that for weeks. So, and we're like, I think I'd need to start editing episode like 8 or 9, and we're on episode like 23. So,
oh wow,
yeah, a little bit behind.
Yeah, that would take a while. I don't even feel like you could get that done in the 4 days. Like,
probably not.
Well, it would just essentially it would be audio, and then you throw like somebody doing agility in the background or something. But then
I have
the exporting time.
Yeah, that's the big one. I have a background video that I set up to use. I have like all the assets. I just need to align them, and then I think I can ask Spari. I think he has when all the like breaks, the midway breaks are.
Oh,
so I can probably, because I usually just like fade out the main elements and like fade in the background a little bit more, just to like signify that it's like the little short break. So I could probably ask him if he still has like the break sheets, and then I could probably get that done pretty quick.
That's so smart that he's been keeping those.
I don't know if he's been keeping them. I didn't actually know if he did at all, but I do know. Okay. I do know. When we finished the last recording, he was like, "Okay, I need to mark down that we took the break here," and I was like, "You write that down? That's smart. I did not expect you to be smart."
Oh no.
I mean,
Slight shade.
he used Audacity to edit the audio for a while. I was telling him to do something different. You made the recommendation of just using DaVinci. I was going to make the recommendation of using another piece of audio editing software that I use that is expensive. However, I have a license to it that I can put on as many PCs as possible.
Oh.
So,
what is that? What's that editing software?
It's FL Studio. I own
Studio.
FL Studio. It's normally for music editing, but because it is for music mixing and editing, you could probably also use it to edit a podcast.
Well, that's cool. So I'm pretty sure he's been using DaVinci
Yes.
for like a couple weeks. I haven't talked to him about it, but hopefully he is enjoying it.
Yeah, he really enjoys that he doesn't have to permanently edit the audio, like, because when you edit in Audacity, right, it is like a permanent change. Yeah. Whereas when you edit things in DaVinci, you still have like the original files as source components.
Yes.
And then you're like,
yes.
you're editing and slicing it up on DaVinci's side, and then you save the DaVinci project, and it saves those changes. It makes it a lot easier for him. The program is not as janky. DaVinci is very good. It's also free. If anybody's interested in audio/video editing software, DaVinci is free.
Absolutely.
It is very good.
I've been using DaVinci for what, three years now?
Yeah,
I only got mad at
nice.
it once, but that's because my computer was the issue, not actually DaVinci. Fun fact, you should change your thermal paste more than once every 2 years.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So I would edit for 5 minutes and then DaVinci would crash. And I think the program was trying to save my CPU from melting, because when I changed my CPU, I got the Ryzen 7. I had a Ryzen 5 before. When I changed it, there was no thermal paste left. It was pretty much bone dry.
Wow.
And,
that is admittedly pretty unique.
So bad. Yeah.
I've done a bit of PC repair in my days. I was the resident PC guy in my friend group back in high school, so I built a fair number of PCs and disassembled and repaired a fair number of PCs. I don't know that I ever, like, I'd seen some dry ones where like you can basically chip the thermal paste off.
Yeah. Well, that's what it was.
Okay, yeah.
Like it was crusty.
It
wasn't. I wouldn't call it paste anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty common. Admittedly, my PC might be getting there. I don't remember when I installed this CPU, but I installed some pretty insane thermal paste, so it's probably fine.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah. Well, I have a new one, and it has a little. I got the NZXT Kraken. So it has the little display that shows you how hot it's getting. I love it. So if it's ever above like 40 degrees, I know, hey, something's probably wrong. Because my computer doesn't run that hot. Right now it's 31 Celsius. Which I'm playing RuneScape and I'm on Discord, so it's not terrible. So you are the co-host of Guthix Rest.
That is correct.
And
that is all.
And actually, like, whenever I was out, Spari was actually the co-host in my stead. So I feel like
I knew he was on here at some point. I didn't know if we. I thought maybe we flip flopped. I didn't know what was going on there.
Yeah. So Spari, whenever I was gone, Spari came on and hosted with Oxie, and they talked about the Summer Summit.
Oh yeah, that's
because that I was in Connecticut on vacation whenever the Summer Summit happened, and so I don't know if that makes you the Oxie of Guthix Rest and me the Spari of Guthix Rest.
Yeah, I don't know
if I said that correctly.
Yeah, I know what you. I don't think you said it correctly, but I already forgot exactly what you said. But I got the point, and I assume everybody else did.
Oh, my light is flickering. If you guys are watching the video format, hold on 1 second. Light, firing up. It wasn't plugged in. I got it. So, we actually should ask you how your week is going. What have you been up to? Do you play RuneScape? Are you playing right now? And if so, what are you doing?
Yeah, my week's, it's been all right. I like I said, I've been learning more and more that I do not like the new job that I've acquired. But that's okay. It's long hours and it's not particularly high pay, but it just means I get less time to play RuneScape, and that's really what's making me sad.
Yeah.
Which answers the question of, do I play RuneScape? Obviously. I co-host a RuneScape podcast. I'd kind of be a fraud if I didn't.
I've thought about that. Like, if I ever wanted to take a big break, would it be painful or hard to do this podcast? Probably.
Slightly tangential. Spari has a habit, a long history of like playing the game too much, and he's maxing right now, and then just like burning out for 6 months to a year at a time. So I'm curious to see what happens if that happens.
Once he maxes,
like
it will.
Because he probably will, for some period of time, stop playing the game when he maxes. However, I think Leagues is going to happen like basically right after he maxes.
Oh.
So, well, right after he plans to max. We'll see if that actually happens. I think he'll probably do it, but who knows?
I'm going to look him up right now and just let's check out his stats.
I think he
live
has
on the pod.
I know he has Hunter and Runecraft left, which are some grinds. I think he has another one, but I don't remember what it is.
Is it
construction as well.
SPARRE?
Yes.
A guy named, not names.
He in RuneScape
he's
just Spari in RuneScape. I think a guy named Spari is too long.
You're right. He has 9 hunter levels, few rune crafting levels, some thieving levels.
Dang,
that's not bad actually. Oh, and some construction. But
yeah, he's saving construction till last apparently.
Really?
Yeah. Which I think he's a weirdo for. But
that's a very interesting choice because I got construction done in like 2021 or 2020 on my main account, and it was the best decision I ever made because the construction cape,
it's so good.
It's so clutch.
I want it so bad.
Very clutch.
I have,
and going your entire account without the construction cape just seems crazy. But I guess he'll have his max cape, which has it. But
part of me thinks that he is saving construction till last to bother people that think like you. Just because he thinks it would be funny. Similarly,
that's only hurting himself.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I am similarly weird. I have untrimmed runecrafting cape on every single account that I have that has a 99.
I wouldn't call that weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, it is no longer the rarest 99 in the game, but at one point it was. And yeah,
what is the rarest?
I think it's agility now. I want to say, let's see.
Oh wait, does the wiki have that knowledge?
Yeah, it was updated at some point.
Guardians of the Rift. That's what happened.
Yeah, Guardians of the Rift also happened. Yeah, but I think if you look up like the Cape of Accomplishment page, it breaks down via the high scores how many people have each cape. Yeah, so it uses high scores numbers because it doesn't know the amount of people that have like quest point, achievement diary, and music cape because you can't know that via the high scores. Unsurprisingly, strength is the most common one, and yes, agility is the least common.
By not that far though.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it right now. As of September 2023, there's 65,657 people. So 65,500 people with agility. And there's 67,500 people with runecrafting.
It is surprising to me that the list then goes on to be Hunter at 77,000 and then Construction at 82,000.
Whoa. Man, Hunter gets slept on so hard.
I feel like Hunter is going to have the Guardians of the Rift effect when the Hunter Guild comes out.
Absolutely.
There are going to be a lot of people that are like kind of close-ish to 99 Hunter that once the Hunter Guild comes out, they're going to be like, okay, well, I'm just going to do a bunch of Hunter now that they updated it.
Well, 79 is like the highest that you ever need to go if you don't care about like maxing, because I think it's 79 for the diary, which is boostable. Isn't the diary catch a black salamander?
I think so. I don't remember.
In the wilderness?
I want to say
that's
it.
Salamanders are 79. net trap. Oh wait, salamander is 67.
There's probably something else.
Is it chinning? 73. What is 79?
I don't know. I'll be honest. I have no idea.
Who knows?
I would argue that the highest you need to go is at least 89 so you can catch lucky implings. But that's just because I like catching implings because they give you free stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of Ironman will go to 83 right off the bat.
Yeah.
For Dragon
glory.
Implings. To get
There's the two routes for the glory. You take the crafting route or the hunter route.
Mm-hmm.
I took the crafting route. Did not do hunter.
I think it's more reliable. But
yeah.
along the way, you could definitely have a lot of good supplies stored up, because if you go dry for the glory, you got dragon bones, you got different fletching materials, but no one likes to go dry because dragon implings are kind of annoying to get.
Yeah.
So it's rune crafting, hunter, and then construction, and then mining.
Yes.
So mining is what? 1, 2, 3, 5th rarest.
I wonder if mining's going to go up because of the shooting stars update.
Oh, for sure.
My one of the discords that I'm in, that's just a bunch of RuneScape players. Everybody's talking about shooting stars. Everybody's like, "Hey, I just got home. What cycle are we on? Where are the stars right now?"
Oh, really?
All the time, all the time. It is crazy.
I kind of love that though.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of cool.
I have considered like finding a star just to AFK during a recording. But then that would have required a lot of
it's like a
lot more effort
to like find it and hope that it's a high tier so that you can sit there for like hours and hours on end.
Isn't like so I was looking at Reddit and stuff, like a tier 8 is like an hour and a half if I recall correctly.
There's a chart that somebody posted. I don't remember what it was. Somebody had a chart that was just like the amount of time it takes for X tier of star to reach 0 health, because it's fixed now, right? Because
that's fantastic.
For those of you that are unaware, they updated shooting stars recently, kind of in correspondence to Duke mining fiasco. They removed Duke mining. However, they made it so that shooting stars, they used to every time anybody did damage to it, it would tick down, and the more people that were at a star, the faster it would go away. Now, no matter how many people are mining a shooting star, it has a fixed amount of time that it like loses health. So you know exactly when you click on a star, if you start like at a tier, it will take an exact amount of time to deplete to 0, which is kind of cool. You can sit at them for like 20 to 30 minutes at a time without clicking away. It's pretty crazy. Just every time it tiers down, you have to click on it again. So.
True. Oh, has anybody made a plugin for that yet? Because I'm sure it would be very helpful to have like a timer on the screen to tell you where the star is.
I'd imagine there probably
and how
is.
long it
I haven't
has.
found it. I haven't been running to shooting stars yet, but I would not be surprised if there's like kind of similarly to like the woodcutting timer that shows you how long until a tree respawns. I'd imagine there's probably like one of those for or like the Motherlode mine spots as well. I'd imagine there's probably something like that.
If I could just know this star has 20 minutes left, I could just leave my computer on. Because now with RuneLight, you have 25-minute logout timer. And so I set a timer on my phone, go take my break, but leave my computer on. That's nice.
Game's getting too easy, honestly.
I wish they would. I honestly, with the fact that they allowed the 25-minute like logout timer, I wish they would update the aggression timer to 25 minutes.
That would be nice, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
10 minutes just doesn't feel too long.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
It should.
I don't see a problem with it. I don't fully understand the reasons that the aggression timer exists in the first place. Like, I don't know what their initial reasoning was. So depending on what their actual reasoning behind it was, that will probably influence whether or not they'll change it.
I want to say it was so people could like manipulate it in such a way that like if you wanted to stay in a certain area to lose aggression to walk about safely, you could, so that monsters aren't just automatically always aggressive. But there should be monsters that are always aggressive. Like crabs, there's no reason why they should ever stop, in my opinion.
I want to say there are a select few creatures that are always aggressive, even if you get aggression timer down. But I'm not 100% on that. Oh, like shamans actually. Shamans are that way.
Shamans are,
you never lose aggression at shamans.
SOSD3 in the recording view chat says drakes and dark beasts are also.
Yeah, dark beasts. I know that one as well. But yeah, drakes I didn't know.
I did notice that the warped creatures seemingly never lost aggression either. At least the warped terror birds.
I have not fought.
I was there
yet.
forever.
I did the quest and I left.
Oh, dude. But you already have a trident, right?
Yeah, I have a trident in the swamp. So
it's not really.
So it's a little late for me.
You don't really need it, but
I'll probably go back just for the collection log. But yeah, I'm super excited that's in the game. As someone that did suffer through getting all the way to 87 Slayer to acquire a magic weapon that is good.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that is in the game. And I'm also happy to see that the drop rate's only like 1 in 300 from like a mob that doesn't have an insane amount of health. So
yeah. I got it at 218.
Pretty good.
Which, honestly, it didn't take that long. It was
like
maybe I hear 3 or 4 total trips.
Especially if you cannon them, which a lot of Iron Men probably won't. But
I did not.
You can go pretty crazy on like kills per hour there apparently. So
yeah. I just got a hard clue. It's really nice. That's kind of what I've been doing this week is almost nothing but barrows.
Nice.
I'm at, let's see. I think I'm at like 130 total KC for barrows.
What's the log looking like?
So I'm at 139. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 items at 140 KC, which is around the drop rate. I was spoon there for a while where I had like 50 KC and like 7 items, I think. But I have notable drops are Carol's top, Aram's skirt, 2 Derek plate bodies, and Varac's skirt. Those are all my main items that I use a lot. I'm only missing like 2 items for full Guthans. As a group Iron Man team, we have full Carol's, full Deroks, and full Varac's.
Cool.
So it's looking pretty juicy.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But I'm still chasing it. Like I would like another Aram's top.
I bet you wish you had
Guthans.
6. Count them 6 Derok's great axes. Because I sure have 6 of those.
You have 6 of them?
Yep, and I still don't have an Aram's top or bottom.
Oh my gosh.
I have the Aram's hood and staff. But,
That's terrible. That's terrible. What's your KC, though?
515.
515?
Yeah. I mean, I've got, I think as far as getting items goes, I am roughly on rate, if not even a little lucky. I have, 6 of them were great axes. I have a full Torag set with 3 Torag's helms and 2 plate bodies. I'm close to full Varix minus the flail, with 2 helms and 2 plate skirts. Close to full Guthans, just need the chain skirt. And then I'm missing the top and bottom for Derok and Aram. And then I'm missing the coif for Carol's. But I do have the Carol's top and bottom, which is, it's cool. I can wear that at Kraken, I guess. It's pretty much the only place I use it.
Yeah, so what does your magic gear look like?
Okay, so you're going to love
Mystics?
this. So I have 250 Leviathan KC. I have a Virtus Mask.
Oh.
With Mystic Robe top and bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Eternal Boots. Obviously a Major Arena 2 cape. Trident of the Swamp. No occult yet. I just recently reached 93 Slayer, so hopefully I'll get a task for that soon.
Nice.
And then still Barrow's gloves, because another thing that I get to complain about is demonic gorillas. Let's take a look at this one. This one's fun too. This is a very exciting one. This one actively makes me upset a little bit. So I'm at 1,071 KC at the experiments.
Ooh.
I have 1 Zenite, but check this out. Okay, check this shit. 3 Ballista Springs, 1 Monkey Tail, 1 Ballista Limbs, and 1 Light Frame.
Oh my gosh.
For any of you that are unaware, every single one of those items that I just listed is significantly more rare than a Zenite.
Yeah. And you have 3 springs.
Yes. And I have the tail, which is the rarest drop, alongside the heavy frame.
Oh gosh.
I could assemble a light ballista if I wanted to. I'm holding out to get the heavy frame or enough parts to build 2 ballistas.
Yeah. Well,
I will never use it.
Some more Zenites.
Yeah, that's the one thing I've been hoping on. I'm probably going to run out of arc light charges before I get another Zenite.
Oh.
It's great. I'm not too upset about it. I don't mind gorillas too much.
Oh no.
But
I've seen
crazy.
people in our Iron Man chat in TNL that are like at 112, like basically their first task, 2 Zenites.
Yeah, I think I went to like exactly 300 to get my first one. So
okay. Well, okay, so they are 1 in 300.
Yes.
You're at 1,000, so you should have gotten at least 3.
Would expect to if you were going on rate.
On rate, yeah.
Statistics are weird on how
crazy.
You would expect to get things at points, but
I'm hoping that I don't go that dry.
I hope that for you as well. I hope that for everybody.
I genuinely dislike killing gorillas. It's not fun to me.
I like gorillas. I wish that they didn't switch prayer every 50 HP. I wish it was like a little bit higher. It doesn't need to be a lot higher, but just like a little bit. Be like 75 HP.
Yeah.
Though it is funny, sometimes when I'm using Arclight, I'll hit like a 49, and then I'll like just max a 54. That always feels good.
That does feel good.
Yeah.
Wait, so hold on. When you're killing gorillas, the thing that I find the most frustrating is not knowing what attack they're going to use next.
All right.
Is there a pattern? And am I just missing it?
So,
there is.
There is a pattern, and they actually updated it recently to make it a little more clear when they're switching their attack style. So the way it works is you need to be on correct prayer, and they need to miss you 3 times in a row.
To switch.
Yes, to switch their attack style.
I thought it was hit you 3 times in a row.
No. So interestingly, if let's say they were attacking with mage and they just switched to range. If they hit you with that first ranged attack, it does not count. You then need to pray range and they will miss you 3 times. However,
sorry, you're right.
However,
3 attacks, not 3. Yeah,
yes.
Gotcha.
However, if they throw that first rock at you and you're off prayer, but it still misses, that counts for 3 in a row. As long as the third one in a row you are off prayer, it will work. If you are as long as the third one in a row you're on prayer, it will work.
Yeah.
If you are off prayer, I don't know how that works. I swear sometimes it still changes, other times it doesn't. I'm not sure exactly how it works. There's probably some nuance to it, but that's the main way it works. So, if you want to do it as efficiently as possible, what you do is whenever they are attacking with mage or range, you want to stand 1 tile away from them. Because then if they switch to melee, they will walk towards you, so you know what they switch to. And if they switch to the other ranged attack style, they won't walk towards you, so you know what to switch to. Gotcha. And then if they're on melee and they switch, you just have to guess between major range.
Okay, so it's guess.
Yeah, that one's still a 50. That one's still a 50-50. I just always guess mage.
Mage probably hits harder, in my opinion.
I believe one of them hits harder. Overall, my mage defense in my gear is lower with both of my attack styles, and my range defense is decently high. So I just always pray mage.
It's probably smart. So you're standing there. So let's say you're shooting it with range, or sorry, it's attacking with range, and then it stops.
Yep.
Can it switch back to range, or does it have?
No, it has to switch to either melee or mage.
Oh, okay.
And also, as I was alluding to, they did an update. Now, whenever they switch attack styles, they make a noise, and in the they do the little yellow text above them, and it just says "rah," just R with a bunch of A's.
I love that.
So
Man,
there's a clear indication when they switch attack styles now.
There used to be a plugin.
There used to be none
on. There used to be a plugin on OS Buddy back in the day that would tell you what their next attack was going to be.
So
it would have. I know it was. I wish I milked it. I really do. So it would have their overhead prayer. and then it would have the overhead above it. It would do another overhead prayer icon of what their next attack will be.
That's busted. That's
I know.
crazy. I never used
it was there
OS
for
Buddy.
a while.
Because I was like, OS Buddy cheating.
OS Buddy was actually the same as RuneLight, except for you had to pay for it.
Yeah. I was also
Before
broke,
that-
so
Yeah,
that also
It was
affected
only-
my ability to use OS Buddy.
it was like $3 a month.
A month?
Are you okay with?
Bro.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have paid that.
really.
Old school's the
before
only
that-
thing that I accept a subscription model for. I despise subscriptions. I begrudgingly
nice,
accept old school's subscription model.
They definitely killed OS Buddy whenever RuneLight came out and it was free. But I was highly skeptical of RuneLight for a long time,
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
just because I'm like, how are you going to come out with the same exact plugins but for free? That just seems like they're trying to get your account. But I eventually switched.
I mean, yeah, it's reasonable.
I forget what the other one was. It was like OS Buddy and Conduit, I think was the other one.
I don't know. I used to have friends that legitimately used cheat clients, so
Oh, like Blue Light.
I think Blue Light was among them. But yeah, there were a bunch of them. Every once in a while, they'd be like, "You should use this client," and I was like, "Fuck no, you're gonna get your ass banned."
Yeah, never did that before. I legitimately, that's not me memeing. I like the closest it came to like cheat client for me was downloading the TOA plugin. Like that's the closest I've ever gotten to cheat client stuff.
I'm surprisingly vanilla when it comes to like the plugins I use. I don't like having like a million tile markers and NPC highlights all over the place.
Yeah.
I only very recently did the thing where you hide thralls and just make them outlined because
It's kind of nice.
I recently had I forget what it was. I think it was a TOA bomb. It's a pretty common story at this point. The shadow that indicates where the like bombs during the Warden's fight are going to land, those can be hidden by thralls, which is just such
that's not good.
poor game design.
It's pretty bad.
So I hid thralls finally after that happened. I was like, fine. There's a lot of visual things in this game that really bother me. I went to school for game development, so there's a lot of things that like, you know, I've learned some tips and tricks, and I don't want to be the guy that's like, well, I have a degree, so I actually know everything. But there's a lot of things that I'm just like, okay, come on. Like, I don't even need to have a degree to notice that this is bad. This is just bad. How has this not been fixed? And I know that the reason it hasn't been fixed is because the old school rendering engine is a spaghetti mess. I mean, you can drop multiple items on the ground, and then depending on which way you rotate your camera, a different one will be on top. Like, this engine is so broken. But you know,
it's what we have.
It's what we have,
unfortunately.
And if they change it, they might break the whole game. Who knows? So,
yeah, it's one of those situations where if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
because you could fix it, or like you could break it worse.
Yeah,
and that would be bad.
I mean, look at the betas recently. They've had to cancel like literally every single beta because they're trying to implement new, admittedly very useful features.
Yeah,
but they keep breaking stuff that they weren't expecting to break, and it's like, my first question is, where is the QA team? Does it exist at all? We keep releasing these massive bugs into the game. We had a random event when Path of Gloughtery released. Oh, hey guys, Superiors spawned at 100% chance. How does that get into the game? How does that happen? For those of you that didn't know, for a couple hours when Path of Gloughtery released, whenever you killed any Slayer creature on task, you would get a Superior 100% of the time. That was in the game.
Why did I not abuse that?
Same. I wish I was awake because it was at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. my
2 a.m.
time.
Damn it.
So,
wow.
But yeah.
And people probably were doing the quest too. So then.
Yep. There were people.
I mean, there's people awake doing Slayer.
But,
I
think, I want to say you had to be on task, but you might not have even need to be on task. I don't know the full details of it, but.
You do have to be on task for a Superior though.
Yes.
So I feel like that would track.
Yeah. But to some degree, getting Superiors was really easy. So, and then Shooting Stars, when the most recent update came out that changed Shooting Stars just didn't deplete at all.
6 hour log at stars.
Like, how does this get into the game?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know, man.
I really do appreciate the old school developers. We get a lot of cool content, admittedly at a little bit slower pace than I'd like, but we get a lot of stuff. They're clearly doing stuff.
Yeah.
But it is still crazy to me how some of this stuff happens. I'd love to take a peek at the process of releasing an update at Jagex,
Same.
It'd be very interesting.
Are you ever going to apply to work at Jagex?
Yeah. Am I ever going to? You think I haven't already?
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I was, I think, briefly considered for a position back during like the COVID times when they were hiring remote.
That's cool.
But there was probably someone with way better qualifications than me that applied to that job. And maybe that already lived in the
there.
UK. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I can talk briefly. We had Jeoparite on our podcast last Wednesday. I think that episode will be releasing this Tuesday.
Ooh, okay. Which is like 2 days in the past for this episode.
Yes. But for current, right now, us recording it is 2 days in the future.
Whoa.
Love
Meta.
the time going on here. I was talking with Jeoparite, and he has a very similar degree to me. He has a game development design degree.
That's cool.
Which was cool to learn, because I had asked him what his background was, because he wrote like a Python script for one of his episodes that like calculated his chances of getting X Slayer tasks in a row without Earth Warriors or something.
Okay.
And so I saw him do that.
Spoilers.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Jeoparite's series, he does that. Sorry. But I'd asked him what is it that you do? Because there was something else that he did in his series that like kind of tipped me off. Like, this seems like someone that has a similar background to me. And yeah, he has a game development degree. He said that the reason he made Northern UIM was both just kind of for fun, and because he was hoping that maybe if the series got popular enough, he could get the attention of Jagex and be like, "Hey guys, what if you hire me?"
That's amazing.
Because I mean, that's not unreasonable, right? Mod Manked was recently hired at Jagex, and he was a prolific PvP guy. He won multiple Deadmans, so it's not out of the question for that to happen. So I'm rooting for him, but I don't know that it'll happen.
It'd be kind of fun.
It'd be cool.
I applied for like the junior developer position that they had posted, and I honestly think that was the same application that Manked also applied on.
Yeah,
because shortly after I applied, he got the job.
Yeah,
they sent me an email. They're like, "Hey, sorry, you're not what we're looking for." Like, I'm not bothered. I have no background in game development. I just play this game for way too long.
Yeah. I think if they opened like a design only, not a developer position, that a lot more players would have a chance at making it in.
Yeah.
But the developer position kind of requires you to know some programming stuff.
Yeah.
Which
I'm sure they could teach you though.
Yes.
Like, it's their own, it's Runescript.
It is Runescript, but obviously having a background in programming makes it, speaking from experience, having a background in any programming language makes it easier to learn new programming languages. So
True.
They probably would look for people. They would prioritize people that have a background in programming. Because I believe Runescript is only used for part of the engine, because nowadays they have the C++ client. So they have a client that is written in C++. The game, I believe, is written primarily in Java. And then the scripts, which, if you don't know, is kind of some nerd shit. Basically, the core engine of the game is written in Java. And then it can read functionality from scripts. This is just how game engines work. So it's how I assume the RuneScape engine works. I don't know this for certain, but it's how other engines work. The engine itself can read from the script, which is written in a different, more simple language most of the time. And then it can perform actions, and the scripts can be modified more easily than the game engine code. And that's why they do that.
Okay. Huh.
It used to be that compiling the game engine would take legitimate days on really old machines. So what developers did was they learned how to script the game so that they could compile the engine, have it ready to go, and then make tweaks and updates to the game by just adding or removing or editing scripts, which to recompile take no time at all because the game is just reading from that file, essentially.
Gotcha.
There
And
could be
that's-
some inaccuracies in everything I'm saying. I'm not a professional, but that is what
Right.
I remember. That is how I know that this stuff works.
Is that where this like the term the spaghetti code comes from?
A little bit, yeah, because you end up with all these like different things in different places that you know, you have to like unravel the spaghetti to figure out where something is going wrong.
Damn. And it's all on Mod Ash's back. If we
All
ever
of it.
lose him,
Yep.
the game is going nowhere.
Yeah, it's crazy to me they actually have like an engine team now that just is specifically working on the core engine.
Oh, good. Good.
I don't know how many developers are on that, but I learned of that when they were doing like all the sailing stuff. And they had one of the guys that was on the engine team on one of the Q&A live streams, and he was talking about how it was surprisingly easy for them to implement the way that ships are instanced and move around in the world. That system is already in the game. It is
neat.
currently not used, but it is in the video game. The
Yeah.
reason I know it's in the video game is because there was a brief period of time where player pathing was broken because they released ship pathing into the back end.
Oh, really?
Yes. So if you tried to move diagonally, your character would move in a different way than normally does. Because they
I bet
implemented
that killed a
ship
bunch of
movement.
hardcores.
I wouldn't be surprised.
The meme was always like, can we have this feature? No, because it takes engine work.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they have an engine team now, because then that's less of a meme.
Yes. It's still a good meme. It's always funny to be like, we can't do this because engine work. That's still my go-to is whenever they can't do something, I'm like, oh, it just must require engine work. But yeah, they do actually have at least one person, I imagine more, specifically dedicated to working on the engine. So
That's good.
yeah, it's cool.
So you talked about, well, we briefly talked about a little bit of like struggles with gear.
Mhm.
You talked about not having ARMs. I talked about the new staff. And that kind of transitions us semi-neatly into what we wanted to actually talk about today, which was loosely based on the things that we recommend are the things that we think are important when you're considering a group Ironman, when you're considering an actual Ironman, any sort of Ironman account. If you guys listen to the show for any length period, you can actually hear the disdain in Oxie's voice when anything Ironman is mentioned or talked about. And so I thought it was a great time, now that he's not here and he can't just like outright complain the entire time, that we should talk about Ironman mode.
Yeah.
with a pretty experienced Ironman / group Ironman player.
I like
enjoyer.
to think myself fairly experienced, you know.
So we have an unofficial, in no order kind of list. So I think we should talk about gear first, since we kind of already mentioned it.
That's fair. I want to briefly mention my my type of account, just so that people know my basis here. I am a group Ironman. However, I'm a Blue Helm group Ironman. However, I have basically played as an Ironman for my entire existence. Spari is one of my group mates, and he played to like total level 400, I think, and then quit.
Okay.
He did like some Temporos and then left. And my other group mate, he also played, but we kind of decided that we both wanted to be largely independent. But like, you know, every once in a while, like, you know, I'd be like, here's one of my old gear upgrades. He used my POH a lot because I have basically a maxed POH.
Nice.
So basically, I know he didn't really like me putting it this way, but he was playing Iron Man, but like with a sugar daddy. I was basically taking care of a little Iron Man child. Which I thought was fun. It seems that he didn't like the way that I phrased that a lot. He never really communicated.
Like in a serious?
Yeah,
in a serious mode? Like
he stopped playing, partly citing that I would like say stuff like that.
Oh no.
He never told me that he didn't like that, so I was a little upset because I was like, I thought we were just joking around, man. I thought it was just a
communication
meme.
is key here.
But you know, we worked it out. It's all good. He's just kind of taking a break from RuneScape in general.
Not a problem.
So I'm back to being a regular Iron Man with no group mates.
Okay.
I just figured that was probably some important context to the way that I will answer these questions.
It is because everybody will know now that you're a group Iron Man, but some of the key ways that you play group Iron Man is with a group.
Yes.
Which you do not have currently.
Yeah, during the beginning section, we had a brief period of time where all three of us were playing and we were all doing the early quests and stuff and throwing a bunch of stuff in group storage once it existed, because it didn't exist on release, I don't think. Or did it? I don't remember. I can't. I don't. It's been
a long time ago.
Yeah. If it did exist, it was a lot more limited. But I want to say it didn't. I know that the extra storage slots unlocking did not exist on release at the very least.
You know what? I'm remembering now that I think it was like a week or two after, because they wanted to just get it out, but they hadn't finished group storage yet.
Yeah.
So I think you're right.
That. Yeah, but we did some of the early game stuff. Spry rushed to Tempros because he was he was going to be the guy that was going to rush to Wintertodt and Tempros and just get the early 99s and supplies. And I was like, fuck that. That sounds so boring. So I went off and did my own thing. Our other buddy, he also kind of just went off and did his own thing. He was mostly a skiller on his old account. He hadn't done a ton of PVM or quests or stuff. And I was trying to encourage him to do more of that. And he was pretty on board with that. So he was kind of loosely following what I was doing, but I was doing a bunch of weird stuff. I'd have to go back and look through my old screenshots of what order I got levels in, because my game plan was to just do whatever I wanted.
That's a great plan, honestly.
I was going to loosely follow the optimal quest guide as my guidance point. Mm-hmm. But I tangented from it, similarly to how I tangent on podcasts that I'm on all the time,
which is great.
Yeah, we can talk about the points. We have a list.
We do. We have a list that kind of goes into the first thing. So right off the bat, I want to thank Gecko and Eligio. I reached out to them yesterday, and I just asked them hey, what are some of the main things that you think are important with Iron Man mode, specifically group Iron Man, because Eligio has been very active on his group Iron Man. I think he's 1,900 total in a pretty active group. And then Gecko, I can look and see. His name is Coach Beard. If you guys are around TNL in any sort of capacity. Let's see, what level is he? He's also nearly 2K total. So they're pretty high level group Iron Man accounts. And they have
only a couple levels below me.
What level are you?
I am 2090.
Oh, damn. Okay. Also very prolific.
Yes.
Am I saying that word correctly?
I think you're looking for prolific.
Prolific.
I don't know if prolific is a word, but I think you're looking for prolific.
Prolific. Prolific Iron Man. I myself am 1718 total, which is nothing to scoff at.
No, not at all.
I'm almost up there with the new total level world, so
it's
exciting. But I reached out to them, and they gave us some things we want to talk about. And that I mentioned that we should talk about gear first, but I feel like Gecko's first and second point are very much relevant to that conversation.
We had been discussing this. I said that I would have things to say on these points.
Yeah,
because they're very relevant.
So if you want to take it over, I feel like you can start.
I can go ahead and do that. So Gecko has to say he has his first and second point. Number one is your team might not stick around or play as much as you, but that's okay. Play as much as you want. Tons of people enjoy solo Iron Man. And if you get dupes of stuff, you have gear for your team when they come back, because nobody quits RS. They just take breaks, which is so true, bestie. So I have so many dupes of things sitting in my bank. I have not dropped a single item on this account to my main for money.
Oh, wow.
I just keep everything. Now, this is twofold. Part of it is if my group mates come back, they'll want things, and I can, not really even loan things out. I can give things out because I have extras. Yeah. That is admittedly only a small part of it. The other part of it is I just like keeping things.
Nothing wrong with that.
I am not a hoarder in real life, but when it comes to digital like data and video game items, I have no reason not to just keep them. Like,
yeah,
I just keep everything. Like, I have some pretty ridiculous stacks of things in my bank. I have 1,394 calquats because I just keep them. I still do calquat trees every time I do a farm run just because it increases the calquat stack, and I think that's funny. Yeah. Let's see, what other kinds of weird things do I have in my bank?
6 Darrock Great Axes.
Yeah, I have all 6 of them still. Every single one. They're still chilling.
So many.
I have 43 Dragon Med Helms that I have yet to alch.
Oh my gosh.
I have not alched anything that I got from Gauntlet. Well, not everything, but I still have I have 186 rune full helms.
Okay.
And like a bunch of like other rune plate bodies and stuff from when I did Gauntlet. I have, what is this? 47,000 mithril arrows. Why do I even keep the lower tiers of arrows? I don't need those.
That's so many mithril arrows.
Yeah, I think most of those that's probably also like a Gauntlet thing. Yeah, all the extra.
I could do a lot with those arrows, by the
way. I mean, yeah, maybe my group mates in the future will be like, "Yeah, I need some arrows." I'll be like, "Here you go, dude. I don't need these."
Because I feel like mithril arrows with a MSBI be kind of cracked it at crabs.
Hey, yeah,
if you have that many.
I have 38 magic short bows. If they need some extra 38. Ones. I'm assuming those are probably from like hard clues. I have 23 rune crossbows. Who knows where those came from?
My goodness.
I just keep things. So
you really are a hoarder.
Yeah, why do I have 20 adamant knives? I'm getting rid of these right now. I'm never going to use these.
Adamant knives?
Yeah.
Or like daggers?
Nope, knives, like the throwing ones.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't need those. Those are gone. But yeah, I just like put things in my bank. They just stay there forever.
As long as they're stackable, I don't see an issue with it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have loot tabs.
Yes.
So you could just
my loot tab has a lot of stuff in it.
Loot tab.
That's pretty true. My entire account basically is a loot tab. Like every god page that I've gotten from clues, that's still sitting around. Apparently I have 7 Guthix page 2s. That's cool.
7 of them. Wow. So what is in your group storage? So going back to the original
point. Basically nothing.
Okay.
There's a lot of this kind of relates to another point from someone somewhere that I read, but there's a lot of stuff from like early quests that I like picked up multiple of so that my group mates could do those quests as well if they wanted. I cleaned this out recently. There was a bunch of random junk in here. There are 7 clockworks. There should be 8. Somebody took one of them, but I put clockworks in them so that they could do birdhouse runs if they wanted.
Yeah. I think you need a clockwork for a quest. So
yeah,
probably
maybe.
They did a quest.
Yeah, but there's some random stuff in here. There's a weapon poison plus, I think, because one of my group mates asked me for that because I got one, and he was like, "Ooh, can I poison my dragon dagger?" And I was like, "Sure." And then I guess he never did it. There's some muddy keys in here. I have extra muddy keys for like the diary. There's like a bunch of cooked food. I think from when Spari did Temperos, and I just never took it because I had enough cooked food on my own, and I was like, maybe they will need it later.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of just like stuff like that.
I think you'll find that Spari might come to his group Ironman once he maxes.
I also slightly think that. He has convinced himself that he would not like Iron Man because you have to collect a lot of stuff on your own. He can't be. Does he have 99 farming yet? Yes, he does. Okay, but it took him way too long to get 99 farming because he just like never. He can't be asked to like do a tree run ever, like not even like once a week, just like ever. He just doesn't. I have gotten into the habit of just doing. I used to combine it with a tree run, but nowadays it is just one herb run a day at minimum.
Okay.
I'll do it's whenever my calquat tree is done. I kind of like, because calquat trees take like, I think less than 12 hours. So, or like it's either just less than 12 or just less than 24. I think it's just less than 24. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100%, but basically calquat tree is like my reminder to like do a farm run, and then if my Hespori's done, I'll do my Hespori as well, and then I'll do all the herb patches. And I also, this is a tip that I just thought of now. If you're an Iron Man and you can plant a whiteberry seed, you should plant one at the Artie Monastery.
Yeah.
Because most likely at some point, you are going to start teleporting to the Artie Monastery as your means to access fairy rings. Whenever you pass by, just pick up some whiteberries. Yep. That's herbal or secondary for the future.
I did that, but I never grabbed the berries.
I also teleport to, whenever I do my herb runs, I go to the monastery and I pick them up. And I also wear a combat bracelet every time I do an herb run because I teleport to the Champions Guild and I pick from my whiteberry bush I have planted there as well.
Okay. You can recharge the combat bracelet, right?
Yep. Combat bracelet can be recharged. I always recharge it at the fountain in the Myths Guild, but I realize not everybody has access to the Myths Guild. I believe you can charge that one at the Legends Guild, which is right next to a fairy ring. I believe the combat bracelet is charged there. I guess I can click the wiki button on one real quick, but I believe that's the way it works.
Because I was going to say the Chronicle is probably also an alternative.
Yeah, you could use that's true. You could use a Chronicle as well. I know a lot of people carry a Chronicle for the early game farm runs. Where do you recharge this thing, man?
So Spari's not going to come back. He may come back.
Yeah, he might.
I only say he may because I've almost entirely abandoned my main at this point.
Fellow main
or my group
abandoner.
Iron Man. Yeah, it sounds harsh to say like abandon, but when it comes to logging in, I don't really think about logging into my main account to do stuff. I've been trying to flip to make some money.
I should do that
when I can.
But man, I sure don't.
I don't need money on my main account. I kind of just want to have a growing cash stack because it's just sitting there not
passive
accruing
income,
interest.
baby.
It's passive income, right? So I've made probably like 20 mil in the last few weeks flipping. But that also takes time, which I don't know. Like I said, I don't need the money. But I think, and I've said this before on this podcast, I think when sailing comes out, that will be what pushes me back to the main account.
That's fair.
That will be the drive that I need because I've already kind of set it up with, I've set up a little competition with one of my friends who he maxed in 2018. He's been maxed. He never stopped playing his main account. And so I messaged him like, hey, when sailing comes out, do you want to race to max? He says, yes. I said, okay, doing that. So I'm going to race to remax. I'm going to race to remax via sailing. So I think that'll be what draws me back. But for the time being, Iron Man, great. Numbers go up. Count progress feels great. I enjoy it.
I will not be going back to my main when sailing comes out. I'm just going to do it on the iron. I don't think at this point, unless I get bored of Iron Man mode, which at this rate, it doesn't seem like that'll ever happen. Maybe like, when I'm crazy endgame, like going for like Zuckhelm because I have nothing better to do with my life. I think at that point I might get bored.
Okay.
But for now, like I'm cruising, man. This is way more fun. So
I would agree. I would agree.
And that's all personal taste. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but that is my honest reaction. I'm not going back. I'm doing sailing on the iron, especially since they were like, hey guys, irons aren't really going to be able to participate with other people's ships. Everybody hated that. And so they immediately changed their minds. They're like, okay guys, we'll figure it out later, but irons will be able to interact with other people's ships in some way.
Can you imagine? Yes, I understand trading. I understand like selling, but just standing on somebody's ship.
Yeah.
You stand alone, but you can stand alone together on ships.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the POH for irons works really weird. I think they recently made it so that mains can go to irons POHs. And I say recently, but I don't think it was actually that recently. It was quite some time ago. But within the past couple of years, they finally did that. And there was like...
But not the other way around.
Yeah, not the other way around. They said they might do it the other way around, but something engine work. So that's probably like part of the reason they were initially hard stanced on sailing, I'd imagine. So maybe the release of sailing will also see the release of irons being able to go to mains POHs, but like, not gain XP or not interact. We will see.
Yeah, just going inside, I feel is fine.
Yeah.
But like, it would be kind of weird to suddenly allow somebody to take a sip from the pool and then
Yeah. I imagine
Iron
the
Man
way
just
it would work
becomes
is, the Iron
mainscape
Man
again.
just has to click on the pool and it'll be like, you stand alone. You can't use this guy's POH. Sorry. Sucks to suck.
Yeah. Because if Iron Man could use the pool and the spellbook swap, I'd be there all day.
I mean, you'd be like my group mates, They'd be chilling in my house,
Oh.
I got everything, dude. I got the spellbook swapper. I got a portal nexus with every single teleport in it. I got the purple drink, fairy ring, the spirit tree. I got it all, baby.
Damn.
Spari's gonna be like, man. The craziest part is because of the way they edited Group Iron Man mode, my group mates can teleport directly to my house with that teleport spell. That's crazy.
That's pretty cool.
That's so good.
Yeah. I have a pretty decent house for having 70 construction. TMD has a pretty decent house. So like both of our houses are about the same. And for a while there, I was using TMD's house when he was online. Mm-hmm. The only sucky part is they have to be online and they have to be in the same world.
Yeah.
If they could make it to where, and I wish that they had done this, like you have essentially a clan hall, but for your group.
There was a huge discussion around that when Group Iron Man first came out about like, do we have a shared house? Do we? Mm-hmm. And they were like, something engine work. You can teleport to each other's houses.
One day, I really hope that like we get the group hall and maybe it's like I don't know, like maybe it's like a tavern instance or something, and you guys can all just meet at the same tavern, and they have basic things that you can upgrade, like a rejuvenation pool. I don't know, maybe some teleports. That kind of stuff would be what I would want in sort of a tavern hall. Mm-hmm. At least where you could replenish your health in spec and prayer, and then teleport places, and then a spellbook swap would also be nice.
Yeah.
Barring everything else, just put it in your own house.
Yeah. I think one of the things they could do is just make it so that you can go. I know that POH data is attached to the player, and so when the player isn't logged in, you can't load their POH.
Yeah.
Something engine work, something you have to do specific work for Group Iron Man mode, and the mains and other Iron Man modes don't like it when Group Iron Man gets specific content because that means it's dev time specifically for them. But it would be cool if Group Iron Man, or maybe even just accounts in general, you could visit someone's house when they're offline. Same world I can kind of understand if they are online, because of the way that it just kind of makes sense. If you're in your house and somebody else comes to your house, you'd kind of expect to be able to see them, so you need to be on the same world. But it'd be cool if you could go to people's houses while they're offline.
I don't know. I guess you're right, because there's not really any other instanced area that multiple people can go to. No, there is. They have instanced areas that exist across different worlds.
Do they?
But I guess it's, well, I mean, like holiday events, you can see other people no matter what world you're on.
I mean,
those are generally instanced.
Those people will be on the same world as you.
Yes, but I'm saying the instance is open.
I see what you mean.
In multiple worlds. Yeah, because they could have the world 514 version of your house, but they just keep an instance version of it open in every world.
That's going to be a lot of houses,
but you have to be online.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's worth it.
I don't know.
I would say it's worth it.
I don't know that the engine would be able to handle that. That sounds like a lot of instances to just keep open all the time.
Yeah.
And these guys close your freaking Grotesque Guardians instance if you're AFK for 5 minutes. So clearly they're worried about it. Yeah.
Oh. Like it kicks you out after 5 minutes?
Yeets you. You're just gone, baby.
Oh, wow.
And it's not if you're AFK for 5 minutes. It's if you don't summon the boss for 5 minutes. If you sit there for 5 minutes, like being an Ultimate Iron Man or something, managing drops on the ground, all those drops are gone now. See you later.
F.
So.
F.
Yeah. I don't know. I obviously have no reference point to how much compute power on the servers holding a bunch of instances takes up. It is obviously not nothing, but I don't imagine it's a lot. But I also don't know how much compute power their servers have. So.
Yeah. That's just, like pipe dreams at this point.
Yeah.
So the second point.
Yeah, second point. Now that it's been like 7 years, we can talk about number 2. Your helm color doesn't matter as long as you're having fun. I'm a green helm because I wanted to play with my GF, and her account was already an early to mid Iron Man. If your group does bail you, you can always go green and play with other deserted group Iron Men. Just be careful you don't join a team too much further along to miss out on certain progression. Prestige is neat, but nobody cares about it, or nobody can see it, and it can limit you, which isn't a bad thing. So I'm going to start with the prestige thing because this is a simple answer for me. I created my group without prestige. I think prestige is dumb. Well, that's harsh. I don't think prestige is dumb. I think prestige does not match the way that I play this video game.
Sure.
Like when I do group content, I just want to be able to play with whoever. Like, even if all of my group mates played all the time, I'm sorry, guys. I want to do raids with other people too. It's especially weird. Chambers is getting the change soon where you'll be able to scale without needing like a bunch of different accounts. But
yeah, Prestige
always seemed weird to me because you just can't scale Chambers of Xeric beyond 5 ever with Prestige, which just, as someone who used to do like a lot of 3+2s, is just not a thing that I want to deal with ever.
And they had to be online.
Yeah.
Like for you to even access that content.
Yeah. So it was not particularly exciting to me. You know, I wanted to have the idea of being able to do chambers with whoever I want, being able to scale chambers. Chambers was the only raid I did back then. So I wasn't thinking about like Tob or, other group content like Nightmare or whatnot. But chambers mostly influenced my decision to just create my group without group prestige. I just didn't want to deal with that.
Fair.
And then as far as your helm color doesn't matter as long as you're having fun. I am going to be a little bit harsh here.
Okay. Brace yourselves.
Green helm to me is like, I understand why green helm exists and I respect the people that use green helms for the real intention. But if you are a green helm, your achievements mean less to me simply because the green helm market exists. And I can never verify whether or not you just like purchased those items or got them yourself.
Yeah.
It's quite rough. Sad. I fully understand why green helm exists. In his statement, he says that he's green helm because he wanted to play with his GF and his account, and her account was already at early mid Iron Man. That makes complete sense, and people should be able to do that. I think it's great that green helm exists. If your group bails you, you can go green. You can keep all of your items. You don't have to, because if you're switching between blue helm groups, you have to lose all your items. You get to keep your stats, but you lose everything except for your untradables.
That's crazy.
And you switch to another group. Nobody wants to do that. So if you want to be able to trade around groups and, do some group content with other group Iron Men that are actually within your group, green helm is great. However, looking at it from the outside, it's, as someone who is like kind of competitive, wants to be on the high scores, wants to have like a cool account, green helm just does not appeal to me, and I would feel awful being a green helm. However, that said, I have considered making a separate green helm account to absolutely game and sell things on the green helm market. Because have you seen those prices? Holy shit.
I have not. I mean, I've heard like a TiVo is like $2 billion.
It is insane the markups that they do for the green helm market.
Like, how would you have 2 billion GP?
Well, you don't. I mean,
I guess
you don't have it on
items.
The green helm, right? A lot of what it is it's you trade GP across mains. It's like an account services type thing, which then we get into like some weird ground. But I have always held the opinion that I don't like people that use account services. I think you are lame if you do that. You can do whatever you want. My opinion shouldn't affect you, but I have always thought that using account services in games is kind of lame. However, I respect the hustle to people that give out account services as long as they're doing it, ethically. I respect that hustle. It's probably a weird, contradictory opinion to have.
It's pretty contradictory.
But, I got to respect the hustle. These people, they make a lot. In the various games, they make either a lot of in-game or out-of-game money doing these services.
Yeah.
I kind of got to have respect for that to some degree, you know?
A little bit. So I want to kind of explain what Greenhelm is for people who are unaware.
That's probably good.
Yeah, so it's a version of Iron Man where you are unranked. That's the whole idea. It's this unranked Iron Man, and it allows you to play solo or to join up with up to 5 people. So, and those 5 people can go in and out at any point.
I think there's like a
if you
week
are
delay between joining and leaving groups, but beyond that, you know, you can just join and leave.
Yeah. So like if you started an unranked Iron Man and you were playing and you got to like 1,500 total, there you could have another friend who started maybe an actual Iron Man, but you guys wanted to join forces. The other Iron Man, who is just a standard gray helm, red helm, whatever, could become unranked, and then your 2 accounts could become merged into a group. Now, the process of becoming a unranked Iron Man is permanent. You can't go back to becoming a gray, red, white, whatever,
or blue even.
Or blue.
You're green
stuck.
forever now.
People call it the booger helm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But you're stuck as a green unranked Iron Man. It's irreversible. But then if you guys like say that you want to take your accounts in different directions, you can then just split off and become solo accounts again.
Or let's say hypothetically, you're in a group of like a bunch of people and they all stop playing the game. You could just leave that group and start playing with people that are playing the game.
Yeah. And that's what his point was here when Gecko said, you can always go green and play with other deserted GIMs.
That is the magic of Greenhelm. That is what it's great for. Is you can still be an Iron Man, but you can kind of swap around with a bunch of different groups and be able to do like, you know, God Wars Dungeon, for example, is somewhat notorious for Iron Men. You can actually do it with other people now. You could go chill, do some God Wars Dungeon with the boys. You can trade items around between them. And of course, for those of you that don't understand the group Iron Man market, that's kind of how that works, is you have someone join your group and then trade you stuff and then they leave. So
my question would be, at that point, why are you playing on a group Iron Man?
That is a good question.
I'm purely, this is non-judgmental because we have very active unranked Iron Men in TNL, and I respect you. This is not a call out post.
I want to make it clear. Like
I'm just
I was kind
of
bashing on, you know, green helms and account services and all that. I want to make it clear that I have my opinions, but I don't like despise anyone because they're a green helm or because they've
not at all
taken account services or whatever. Those are just that is just the way that I think. Yeah, at the end of the day, these things do not affect the way that I play the game at all. That is just how I think of them. But at the end of the day, who cares? Play the game how you want. Have fun.
Exactly. The question I have is the green helm, if you're playing it in the way that you just described, where like you're moving around groups, you're trading different items, you're paying a lot more for them, isn't that just playing a main account with more steps?
Yeah, I personally, I don't really understand the appeal of it. The like buying account services, buying items on green helms doesn't make sense to me at all. Why are you even playing Iron Man at that point?
Just
if you're just buying stuff. Yeah, just play a main. I think you'll have more fun. You won't have to pay as much. Like and there was a post posted in one of the Discord servers I'm in where some guy was tweeting Mod Ash. And he was like, hey, is there a way we could hide our green helms? I'm getting harassed all the time because of the fact that I have a green helm. Which, by the way, if you harass people in public for what type of helm they have, like not just like as a joke, but like seriously. Because like, you know, some people like to jokingly like banter, haha, you're an Iron Man. I do that shit. I make fun of regular Iron Men. They make fun of me for being a blue helm. It's no big deal. But if you're doing it like to actually put someone down, it's fucked up, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently that's like a real problem, is people just like harassing green helms. Probably kind of for the reasons that I said, that I don't really find green helm an engaging game mode, and some people just take it way too far.
Yeah. Because those are actual opinions that people seemingly it does affect them.
Yeah, for
It
some
shouldn't.
reason.
How somebody else plays their account should not affect you. Like if you see an account roll up with 0 chambers, but it has a T-bow and it's a green helm, it doesn't affect you.
Yeah.
Like they're playing the game how they want to play.
Admittedly,
I
I'll
just
kind
don't
of
get it.
I'll kind of point and laugh to myself, but I'm not going to go out of my way to like harass them in game
Harass
chat. You know,
them,
that's
sure.
fucked up.
Yeah, don't do that. I'm not saying you don't do that. Listeners,
Yeah.
you're doing that. Don't do that.
Because yeah, I mean, I will fully admit when I see someone, even if it's a main, holding like a T-bow and they have no chambers as their Casey, I'll kind of point and laugh to myself.
Yeah.
I don't do it in game. I think I rarely engage with other players in game. I'll admit. But you know,
Chat box closed.
I don't close my chat box. It's just I never start conversations. I will gladly be a part of conversations if like people talk to me. I don't start conversations in RuneScape. Just doesn't happen. Unless I see one example of when I did. I saw someone using their blowpipe on accurate or long range. I'm not sure which one, but it wasn't on rapid. And I was like, is there a reason you don't have your blowpipe on rapid? It was at Demonic Gorillas. I was like, why?
What?
And he just never responded to me. I was like, okay, sure.
Interesting.
Could have been a bot.
You
I don't
live
know.
your life.
Yeah, like
Probably a bot.
yeah.
Oh,
there's
for sure.
there's a lot of bots at Demonic Gorillas. I discovered that by accident. I was attacking one, and another person tried to attack one at the same time as me, and was like doing perfect gear and prayer switches at the exact right times.
Oh no!
Despite not even attacking the one that I was attacking, it was just trying to attack that one.
Oh.
I was like,
Uh-oh.
oh, that's a bot.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So I am suspicious of every single person around me all the time at Demonics now.
Oh, I hate bots. But it's a necessary evil, I guess.
Necessary
ways,
in
we
like
could-
air quotes.
Air quotes, yeah, definitely.
There's definitely a lot of discussion to have there that I don't think
That
we
could be
should.
a whole episode.
Yeah, that could be a whole episode in itself. We got a lot of more points here about talking about
We do.
Iron Man mode. I think we've covered
So-
those two unless you had anything else.
Well, on the topic of Green Helm,
Okay.
I did want to just circle back to, in the sense that he was saying he plays on the Green Helm because his girlfriend has an
right.
account
This-
already and they want to play together. I think that's fine. That's totally a fun way to play the game, and it doesn't require both people creating a brand new account,
Which
because his
sucks,
girlfriend already
let's
had
be
a
honest.
mid-game Iron Man.
For-
Yeah, the early
for
game
most
Iron
players-
Man is not fun.
For most players that don't have a bazillion hours to dedicate to this game, the early game is not great. It takes a long
Especially on
time
Iron
to
Man.
get to the content that doesn't suck. So
Yeah.
most people don't want to make new accounts. I play
Yep.
this game a lot, so the concept of making a new account to me isn't like that awful. But I think quite often, myself included, a lot of higher level players kind of get this disconnect with stuff like that about
have-
like
let
the
me
way
see,
the
I'm
early
doing the
game
math.
works.
I have 47 days played on this account. I have already 1,140 hours, and I'm not even 1750. So it is a slog.
Yeah,
Now, granted, I have 92 mining, and I probably didn't need to do all that. But that goes like that kind of transitions into the next point. You can divide up roles.
yes, this is something
If you are a group Iron Man.
that you could probably talk more about since my group mates don't
Yeah,
exist.
absolutely.
But
This has actually been a fun aspect of the account type. So for those who are unaware, my group started as 5. One of our members kind of got burnt out. She stopped playing RuneScape altogether. Life got in the way. Not really life got in the way. She had a baby and she wanted to focus on family. And I'm sure there's other games that are easier to play when you are, working, having a family, doing all that kind of stuff. So RuneScape demands a lot of time, and some people just don't want to give that. So she doesn't play anymore. And one of the other group mates, Escape Caution, he has been really focusing on his main. So that leaves me, Too Much Dad, and Oxie. Oxie is in and out. He plays semi-regularly, but it's mainly just whenever there's like a main group goal that we're all trying to get to. And then TMD and I are the ones that probably dedicate the most time. So in terms of playtime, I have the most, TMD is second, Oxie, and then Escape. So there's, at any given point, there may be 4 of us playing on the group. And the last couple of major things that we've gotten done is we had a TMD was fishing Onyx bolt tips. So here's how it kind of broke down. So we wanted to make some money. He had already gotten the Onyx bolt tips from AFKing lava eels.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest.
So,
you said fishing Onyx bolt tips, and I got confused for a second, and I'd like rack my brain and I was like, oh right, lava eels, right?
Lava eels. It's very slow and not worth to do, but he was just working and playing his other account or something.
It's a good
and
AFK activity for sure.
Very good. And so he ended up with like nearly 10 million GP worth of Onyx bolt tips, but that requires two things. That requires making them from, attaching them to rune bolts, and that requires having the rune bolts. So the way it broke down is TMD did all the fishing to get the bolt tips. I dedicated myself to Soul Wars. I did Dolo Soul Wars, and I got all of the rune bolts. And then Oxie dedicated himself to fletching. He made like several thousand maple longbows, and he got the fletching level required to actually attach the bolts to the bolt tips.
Now these maple longbows, where did the maple logs come from?
He cut all of them.
Jesus. Okay.
I know.
I thought the answer was going to be Kingdom because that's where all of mine come from. But damn.
I think so. The man does not like Kingdom. If you ask him about it, he'll go, oh. He'll make that sound. It's just exacerbated annoyance.
I have a very brief tip.
Okay.
Just kind of for Iron Man in general. If you have the money to do Kingdom, it's worth it. You get free herbs. Well, not free, but you pay GP to get herbs.
Money's free.
And then you can, get another side thing. You can get coal if you need smithing XP. You can get maple logs if you just want some fletching XP. You can get mahogany and or teak logs if you want to bank some more construction XP. All kinds of side things you get. You can get uncooked or cooked fish. But pretty much always have it cranked max in the herbs because, if you're an Iron Man, you know. If you know, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you have the GP for it, I usually keep like 1 mil in the coffers, which I know for a lot of early Iron Man seems like an insane amount of money, but I promise you, eventually you'll be rich.
Yeah.
I usually keep around like 1 mil in the coffers, and every week, most people, I think, do Tears of Guthix, right? Am I right? Do people do Tears of Guthix?
I don't. I think it's a waste of time.
That's fair.
But if you want to,
yeah,
it only takes. It doesn't take that much
So
time.
what
it's not
do,
really a waste of time.
It's kind of like my Calquat reminder to do a farm run thing. Whenever I go do a Tears of Guthix, because it appears in my chat log that I can drink from the Tears of Guthix, I also go manage my kingdom every week. It's like my reminder to do that. That is my system
smart.
that I have found that works. Obviously, not going to work for everybody, but maybe that's a tip that helps somebody. I don't know.
Sure. Just like combining goals.
Yeah.
Like not goals, but combining tasks to help you do them is a good way to put that.
Yeah, because Kingdom is very helpful. All the herbs stacking up is great. If you like collection logging, if you have them cut maple logs, you can also get bird egg nests from that. So. Oh yeah, and also
maple logs, teak logs, mahogany logs. Those come in clutch.
Yes.
For construction.
Very, very helpful. Maple logs, I just fletched them in the longbows. It's free fletching XP. I think I have, if I got all of the bowstrings to fletch all of the maple longbows that I have, I would get 99 fletching.
Oh my gosh.
I have like 10,000.
Oh my gosh.
It's a lot.
Oh, another tip before we tangent off of this one too hard, but temple trekking is actually really good for bowstrings.
Not the longbow, the bowstring spot. You get like 100 bowstrings per trek. It's pretty good.
And it takes like maybe 30 seconds to a minute per trek.
If you get lucky, it takes like 10 seconds because you just get no encounters.
Very nice.
Always do the easy path. Always do an easy adventure with path 1,
just
the blue one.
Skip it. Yeah, just like mash the button on the easy trek, and you can evade every encounter except the bog.
Yes.
Just to teleport out.
I do the bogs sometimes just to suffer. Just to remind me what suffering feels like. But yeah, I would recommend teleporting out. It's a waste of your time.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the story. So he got the fletching levels. And so then we had like 3 mil GP each.
Nice.
And that's kind of been carrying the account this entire time for me. I still have like 1.8 mil. I've bought a bunch of construction levels. We ended up getting more bolt tips to ALK. So all in all, I think I got roughly 5 mil GP out of all the bolts that were ever made, which is great. And so that was the three of us combined together, coming together to complete a goal. There have been other ones more recently. I got 92 mining. And so there's been a massive push to for somebody to be able to make amethyst
I need to do that.
weaponry. So in this sense, we're doing something similar. So I got the amethyst. I got 92 mining to mine amethyst. TMD has been pushing his crafting to be able to cut the ore into the respective like arrow tip, bolt tip.
Yeah, amethyst dart
tip,
tips,
whatever.
89. It's the maximum.
So I think he's 80. He got like 85 so that he could +4 boost with a pie.
I
make the
just
dart tips?
this instant got 88, so I'm close.
Oh hell yeah. Nice. Congrats. And then Oxie has dedicated himself to more fletching to be able to make the the different arrows, bolts, or darts. So in that sense, again, we're all three kind of coming together, each dedicating ourselves to something different to like progress our accounts. Because the money was definitely useful in the beginning. And then like even amethyst tip broad bolts will be super nice.
Yeah, amethyst tip broad bolts, and when the blowpipe comes around as a blowpipe haver without amethyst darts, that'll be nice.
And even the amethyst arrows, like rune arrows are kind of not fun to get. It requires a lot of LMS.
Well,
or
I have.
How do you get rune arrows?
Hi, I've done the gauntlet grind.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, my account was pretty much largely based around I've always been obsessed with Gauntlet. I think it's a really fun activity. I just during like the original Trailblazer, I've been obsessed with like completing Gauntlet at like really low, ridiculous levels. I completed Corrupted Gauntlet in Trailblazer League without Protect from melee, and like super low stats.
What? That's crazy.
You don't technically need Protect melee at Gauntlet.
True. So you did it at 40 prayer?
Yeah, it was whatever the level for Protect range is. Yeah, 40.
Wow.
I did it at 40 prayer, like 70s in all the combats. Obviously, I had the relics to help me out. Make my damage a bit better. But I thought that was fun, and I was like, what if I did this in the main game? So, like I said, my initial account progression was the optimal quest guide, and the reason for that was because I was doing a Song of the Elves rush. I wanted to get Song of the Elves done as quickly as possible.
Okay.
So that was like my initial account goal.
Which that's a great goal to have, by the way.
Yes.
70 in very useful stats is nice.
Herblore was rough.
Herblore was so
admittedly,
rough.
I blacked out, and I don't remember exactly how I got all the herbs. But by the time I had finished all the other 70s, I had like most, if not all, the herbs. I think I did a fair number of farm runs. I did some Slayer along the way. I think I actually have a screenshot of what my stats were when I got to Priv.
While you're looking that up,
go
so
ahead.
for me to get 70 prayer, it was largely due in part by TMD supplying a fair bit of herbs. I think I harvested at least like 600 or 700 irrits on my own. And then I did a lot of diaries.
Oh,
I did like 4 hard diaries.
Every
all
single
the easy,
lamp
all the
I
mediums.
have ever gotten on this account that can be put into Herblore has gone into Herblore.
Has gone to Herblore. Yep, that's smart. Yeah. Like you could probably do at least 100K just in lamps from various diaries that you get along the way of progressing your account towards
and like the
Song of the Elves.
If you do not Sins of the Father, the one before that, Taste of Hope, you can use the book all 3 times on Herblore if you want.
Ooh, have I done that quest? Pretty sure I've done that quest.
And then also Sins of the Father you can, but Sins of the Father has like similar requirements to Song of the Elves, if I remember right. They're kind of high, so it's not necessarily reasonable to have done that one. You probably could, but
I think the combat for Sins of the Father is the hardest for people.
Yeah.
Because the stats, like the highest one is 62 woodcutting.
Yeah, and the
final
fight
at the end.
The boss is hard because the Avandus flail or the Blisterwood flail just
good.
sucks. That weapon is terrible.
Yeah. So your stats when you got to Prif.
Yeah, let's take a look. See, I think it's here somewhere. Wow, I had 49 runecraft. What a fucking loser. Hadn't done my runecraft grind. Yeah, but I'm sitting at 75 HP. 70 attack and strength or attack and defense, actually only 68 strength.
What?
57 prayer, 71 mage, 76 range.
My God.
And like 50s in a lot of my like skilling
and you
stats.
Killed Seren?
Yes, sir.
My goodness. What am I doing?
My weapon of choice was ancient staff. I just used blood spells the whole time.
Okay.
I think somebody posted it recently, actually. There's a trick you can do that prevents you from taking a bunch of damage from the attack that deals your HP -1. I think I commented on it in this server. You can use Phoenix necklaces and something that deals damage to yourself. So what you do the whole fight is you just camp fairly low HP and just use blood spells to make sure you don't die. And I think I was wearing like, I don't remember what I was wearing, but I'd switch into the Phoenix necklace when it was time to do the thing. It was probably like an amulet of magic or like an amulet of power or something really bad. I don't think I had a glory yet. Well, I couldn't have. I have 56 crafting and 70 hunter. So no, I definitely did not have a glory yet. But yeah, you switch, put on a Phoenix necklace when she's about to do that attack. You get a huge amount of time for this. The window for it is insanely long. If you want to practice it, you can actually, on the upper level of the main entry to Prif, where you like teleport in with a crystal, if you go up that main staircase, there's a way you can re-access the Fragment of Seren fight.
Oh,
so you can actually practice this on a main if you just go grab Phoenix necklaces and, you know, the various things that you can use to damage yourself. Which is what I did. I wanted to make sure I didn't fuck it up. You basically just have to put on the Phoenix necklace, and there's like this huge period of time where she's not doing anything, and then you can. What I did is you can acquire these like vials of some kind of explosive. I forget what they're called, but you can acquire an explosive vial from the dig site, and if you drop those on the ground, they deal damage to you. And then I use those.
Would a rock cake and something not work?
No. So rock cakes don't work because basically the damage doesn't. You're not allowed to take damage then. So using a rock cake or like a locator orb doesn't work, but you're allowed to do item interactions. So what happens? This, as far as my understanding goes, this has to do with like the way that taking damage works. The attack that Seren is using, like, isn't. I think it's like put on the attack buffer or something like that at a certain point. And as long as you do this while that attack is on an attack buffer, your Phoenix necklace will proc just before that attack hits you. And like because the Phoenix necklace cancels all damage that is on the attack buffer, it makes it so you don't take that damage. It's like weird technical RuneScape stuff. I don't remember exactly why or how it works. But it works. And I remember specifically, you can't use like rock cakes or locator orbs. You have to use like specifically those weird. I think it's like nitroglycerin or something. And then also nowadays you can use. Well, not nowadays, but it's more effective now even to use. What's that like purple plant?
Belladonna.
Yeah, that one. Those guys.
Yeah.
Apparently those are stackable now.
Too.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, they're stackable.
I use nitroglycerin because it was more quick for me to just go grab and finish. I forget what my inventory looked like, but I think I had like 8 Phoenix necklaces, and I used every single one. I was very close to failing it. It was my first try. I was like, it was right down to the line. If I had slightly worse RNG on my last few hits there, I would have died.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
I definitely think I have the stats to do it. I'm base 80s in my combat, 80 magic.
Yeah,
I'm working on 80
you
range.
You got the scepter or whatever it is now.
got the scepter,
that thing
too.
goes crazy.
Yeah. So I think
That'll
I can
help
do
out
it.
a lot.
Because
that thing's 4-tick as opposed to regular casting, which is 5-tick.
It is so quick. And I could do blood spells.
Yep.
If I needed them.
Yeah, if you needed them. I would recommend bringing them just because it can be nice to heal up. But
absolutely. So I think the plan for me right now is to set aside some time like during the weekends to stream it because I really want to stream my attempts on like the final Grandmaster quests. Like I want to do Dragon Slayer 2 on stream. I want to do Song of the Elves. I want to do Desert Treasure. All of those I want to do on stream, which I think would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Not the entire thing because like
those quests take a long time.
Desert Treasure took me like 8 hours.
Yeah.
So it
I
might be a
don't remember how long
that was on my
took,
main
but
account.
yeah, most of those quests take quite long periods of time. So, but yeah, they're all.
What were we talking about?
I think we were talking about
rune arrows.
Yeah, rune arrows, and then tangented into how I got to Gauntlet and why I have so many rune arrows. My original plan was not to do a lot of Gauntlet. However, I got absolutely spooned an enhanced weapon seed at like 49 KC.
Did you? Oh my
which,
gosh.
before anyone says anything, I was due. I had 600 KC on the main with nothing.
Oh my gosh. Whoa.
I mean, not nothing. I had 3 pets, but no enhanced. And I had started doing Gauntlet before the enhanced seed even existed. I did it back when it was just Blade of Saildor.
Wow.
So
sad.
600 KC.
600. Wow.
And all I had to show for it is 3 pets, one of which came from regular Gauntlet, not corrupted Gauntlet. So it's astronomically more rare.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice the third one that came from regular Gauntlet because that was when combat achievements came out. I was just doing a bunch of the combat achievements from regular Gauntlet. So my chat box had been absolutely spammed. I didn't even notice that I'd gotten a third one. I think that was also around the time that the ! Pets command came out. And so I like checked my collection log so that the pets thing would work. And I was like, wait, why do I have 3 now?
Oh.
And I went back and I looked through my screenshots because RuneLite automatically screenshots the things.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, look, you got it during this regular Gauntlet. And I was like, wow, I hate this.
That's crazy. Do you remember what KC regulars it was?
I think my KC regulars on that account was like 118. So probably 118.
Okay. Damn. You're spooned on that account. In some ways.
Yeah, in a special way that I hated. I mean, I love that pet, but I don't need 3 of them.
No.
And the second one didn't give me anything because that was before pet reclaims. So.
Oh, that sucks.
I think the third one was post pet reclaims, but I'm not. I know. I don't even know if it was. I don't think it was. So. Yeah, that was. It's a cool novelty to have on that account, but yeah, going dry there is pretty notorious. A lot of Iron Men refer to Gauntlet as the red prison.
The red prison. Yeah.
I don't think it's a prison. I love that activity. It's where I learned to PVM. So it kind of has a special place in my heart. But
it's nice.
Yeah, you get a lot of stuff.
You don't need any sort of outside supplies. You're only gaining supplies. If you do go dry, you have crafting bank essentially.
It can be rough to go dry anywhere though for anything, right? Because you don't want to have to do the same activity over and over and over and over again for long periods of time. Which is why my original plan was to not do much Gauntlet and just like kind of send a couple whenever I felt like it. As soon as I got that enhanced crystal seed, I think I did the most Gauntlet I'd ever done in my life because it was my method of both getting crystal shards and obviously I needed the armor seeds.
Yep.
I had nowhere close to the thieving level to pickpocket elves, so that wasn't really an option for me to get shards. So I was like,
yeah.
I can do Gauntlet. I'm just going to keep doing that for shards. So at one point, you need a lot. At one point, I had all 6 armor seeds and the enhanced weapon seed, but I was still doing Gauntlet just for shards.
Oh no!
So,
oh no!
And mark my words, I plan to get a Blade of Saildor as well. I will go for that thing. I want both of them. Sure, I could give my group mates their own Bow of Fahrenheinen, or I could have a funny yellow blade because I will make it yellow. because yellow is
It's a
my favorite
lightsaber.
color.
It's definitely a lightsaber.
I love that thing. I've always wanted that item because, like I said, I started doing Gauntlet way back when Blade of Saildor was the only drop from that, alongside the armor seeds and stuff. So I've just always wanted one. I just want one. It's just a me
I had
thing.
one. I had one before. I had one for a long time, and then I think I don't want to say it was the whip that came out, but essentially, or not the whip, the fang.
Oh yeah.
But whenever the bow came out, I don't actually remember why I sold it. Maybe it was to get a rapier, and then I just never bought it back.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's not.
I don't actually remember.
Admittedly, let's be honest. Blade isn't worth it right now.
It's not.
It's really expensive because Bofa and Blade are made by the same thing, and Rapier is in the absolute bin and will accomplish mostly the same thing. Obviously, if you're using it at like Tob, for example, you should use Blade over Rapier, but most people just buy a Blade for just hitting stuff that doesn't have particularly high defensives, and you just want a thing that has high strength bonus. Guess what? Rapier's got the same strength bonus, baby. So,
and you could just get a fang and save a lot of money.
Also, you can get Fang nowadays. That's a whole different discussion.
Yeah. All right. So going back to the main point.
Yeah, let's get back to what we're actually talking about.
We'll just kind of wrap it up. So, one of Alihio's points, he said, communication is huge with the team and setting the tone on what the goals are for the team, and what you guys want to do. So essentially, the point of dividing up roles goes hand in hand with communication. There's a lot of communication that's involved, or should be involved at least, when you are playing as a cohesive group with people who are online. My team, we have a Discord DM group that we talk in pretty consistently. I know that there are some group Ironman teams that have their own Discord in general, and they hang out in VC and talk together that way. So however you do end up playing your group Ironman, this episode mainly is geared towards the idea of group Ironman, because some of these concepts and some of these things don't translate to a regular Ironman because you obviously stand alone. So dividing up roles, sharing things between your accounts, it obviously doesn't apply. So a lot of the stuff that the two fellas that gave us the ideas, they are looking at it through the lens of group Ironman. So just keep that in mind. And then I love what Alihio said as his main point. He said, it's important for people to understand that this is a marathon and not a sprint. Everyone wants to get into group content, but a lot of that in the early game ends up just being doing quests and monotonous grinds. So remembering that, yes, you did start a group Ironman account, and yes, it is a slog, but at some point, you guys can all go to God Wars together. You guys can all start doing raids together. You can all get into mixing up your goals to help progress each other in different ways. My group recently, we did a 18 or 19 kill trip at Krill. No one was on task or anything. Oxie was tanking, me and Team D were DPS. And so, pulling an item there would be really helpful for the accounts. Pulling multiple items would be superb.
Hey, just don't get 2 stabs of the dead like I did.
Oh, no.
I recommend against it.
Yeah, just try and not do that. But any sort of account progression is obviously always done easier, is always made easier by doing things together. And again, we're trying to avoid the thought that group Ironman is just main accounts with extra steps. But that's kind of the fun thing that that's the fun of it, right? So I would never have started a new account from scratch and continue to play on it if this was just a baby main. I don't need that. I can just play on my main account. But the fact that I can't just go to the GE and buy myself 10,000 prayer potions and be set for life is really appealing. But I also have people to share that experience with, in the sense that I have other group mates that will grab the herbs or get the seeds or benefit from the grinds that I am doing on my account. So in a sense, yes, group Ironman just feels like mains with extra steps, but it's also very different. And it's a different game mode with entirely different an entirely different thought process at the end of the day.
I agree, yeah. And I think also important, this is something I just kind of tout in general, is he also says enjoying the grind. Yeah, some things are not as fun as others. Like I finished my crafting grind for Zenites, but I wouldn't be able to do it with help of the group supplying me with sand and seaweed. So breaking up long grinds and making roles across the team is important.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing I always tout is just make sure you're enjoying yourself. If you're just playing the game as a chore all the time, like obviously just kind of by the nature of this game, sometimes things are going to be a chore and you're not going to have fun.
Yeah.
But as long as you're working towards something that you know is going to, make you proud of yourself or proud of your account, or you're going to get something that is going to be a thing that is going to allow you to do something that is fun to do, that's good. But always check yourself. If you realize that you're just never having fun, just go do something else, man.
Yeah.
Especially if you're with a group, communicate to them, hey, this sucks. I'm not having any fun. Communication's important, but if you're not having fun, you shouldn't feel obligated to continue doing something for the rest of everybody else. And just don't bail. Just be like, hey, I'm not really having fun. And you can work something out, I'm sure.
There's plenty of stuff to do.
This game's huge.
Plenty of things to do in this game. And if you're not having fun doing crafting, don't do crafting.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of the beauty of Group Iron Man, and that's kind of what drew me to the account type in the first place. It's like, if I never want to have to touch farming, I probably wouldn't have to.
Yeah. Admittedly.
Because, yeah.
Because
there's like, TMD loves farming. So I don't have to. He's 92 farming for a reason.
Yeah. I'm kind of in a similar boat, despite the fact that I basically play Iron Man now. I don't know that I ever would have started an Iron Man. There were a lot of things about Iron Man mode that did not seem appealing to me. So I never really did. Like I played my free-to-play Iron, and I knew that wasn't like representative of Iron Man mode because free-to-play sucks. But there were a lot of things that I was just like concepting out in my head of like, oh, I'd have to do solo God Wars dungeon. That sounds terrible. Oh, I'd have to like constantly get all my own stuff. That sounds awful. And Group Iron Man was interesting to me because it's like, okay, I'm still getting that dopamine hit of getting all the gear progression myself, because that was always the big appealing part to me, was having to meaningfully upgrade your account entirely on your own and not being able to just be like, all right, I have 30 mil, guess I'll buy a Fang. That's always been the interesting part to me. And despite the fact that, my group mates don't play as much as I do by a long shot, I never would have played Iron Man at all, I don't think, if the concept of being able to do it with friends hadn't been there to begin with. I have learned to enjoy Iron Man mode on its own, essentially. But, I also have that little iota of hope that at some point, maybe I'm not going to be just an Iron Man.
Yeah, you could be a Group Iron Man.
Yeah, I could be a Group Iron Man again. Yeah, no, I like to joke about it, but I'm still having a lot of fun. And like I said, as much as I kind of would like to be a regular Greyhelm, just because of that like competitive part of me that's like, oh yeah, I want to prove myself. I want to show that I did all of it by myself. I don't think that I would have started an Iron Man just because it didn't seem appealing to me at the time. So
exactly the same. Like I have an Iron Man that's like I don't know, maybe 1,000, 1,200 total. I have a torso on that account. I have a Dragon Defender, but it's like left on red.
Yeah,
I haven't logged in for like 2 years, and I don't plan on it. I don't know. It just like, to me, it doesn't. That sort of game, as silly as it sounds, that game mode doesn't sound appealing. Like the actual Iron Man. The reason I play this game is because it's a social MMO.
Yeah.
And so if I wasn't going to play an Iron Man, I was just going to play main account.
Yeah.
And they kind of merged the best of both worlds, I think.
Yeah.
And I love Group Iron Man.
I have a weird analogy that somebody might relate to. I can't play Minecraft single player, but if I'm playing Minecraft on a server alone, somehow that's okay to me. Because I know the possibility of other people interacting with what I do is there.
Yeah, absolutely.
that is kind of how I've reasoned myself to be like, that's why I still enjoy being a air quote solo group Iron Man.
Right. Because if you're alone and you're on your own private server, for Minecraft at least, there's no shot anybody is ever going to log in.
Yeah.
But if you have a server and you have like a realm,
yeah, and
you could invite somebody if you wanted to.
Like usually the way it is like I'll be playing on a Minecraft server and I'll be like, oh yeah, I've given the IP to my friends. They can join. They just said they'll do it later.
Yeah.
Will they? I don't know.
You might see them online
care.
one day.
I don't know or care. I just know that they might now, so I'm more willing to play this game.
That's such a good analogy. I didn't even think of that. Like playing Minecraft alone versus playing Minecraft with friends. It's so much more fun with friends.
Yeah, it's
and
I cannot play Minecraft single player. I've tried many times. I just can't do it. But as long as I'm on a server that I know my friends will or have logged into, I'm like, cool, I'm chilling. I'm playing the game, even if I'm alone 90% of the time.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so going back to RuneScape, I think we've hit most of the main points that I wanted to talk about.
Yes.
But there are a few that I feel like we could rapid fire.
Yeah, there's some of the ones we have at the top here.
Yes. So the ones that I had here are for Group Ironman specifically, find a specialty. We already kind of covered that, but really hone in on what you enjoy, kind of going back to that whole conversation. I like mining. My group mates hate mining. They'll probably never get mining past 85 because that's really where you probably should stop.
I think that is exactly my mining level. Yes, it is.
Yeah, so get 85 and just never go any higher because you don't need to. But I like mining and I can mine for hours without complaining. So I will probably end up getting everybody their smithing supplies if we don't want to buy them, and amethyst and all of that kind of stuff. So in turn, TMD really likes farming, and so he has amassed vast amounts of farming XP and herbs and different supplies. So there are different things that other people enjoy. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. I am currently on the Barrows grind, so my next point is Barrows is life. For that, I would recommend at least the Scepter. But some things that are very important is the medium combat diaries.
Yes, I was going to say that if you didn't.
Yes, the medium combat diaries.
It is not as hard to knock out as you think it is.
It really isn't.
I did it back when you had to do all of the things to get the tiers.
Oh. Damn.
And it was still worth it. It wasn't even that hard. Of course, that is coming from someone who is fairly experienced at the game, so bear that in mind.
So
but with the
I'll
points,
tell you how I did
with the
it.
point system, I think anybody can get to medium.
Listen, here's how it shakes out right now. I have the medium tier unlocked, and I have 19 easy, 22 medium, 8 hard, and 10 elite. So what is that? Like 40, 50? I have 60 combat achievements done, and I have the medium tier, and a lot of those are free.
Dang. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So easy. The thing that kind of came in clutch, and this is a little tip for you guys if you are struggling with like finding out things that you can do. A lot of them are literally just like get to a certain KC. So along the way, I did some of the wildy bosses. Like I got to 44 KC in Calvarion. That was a free, easy 4 points. And at that rate, I'll remind you, it's only 20 KC to get the elite diary done for Calvarion, RTO, and Spindle. They count for Venatus, like they count for the big ones.
Yep.
So if you get to at least 20 KC, those are all elites. And then the biggest tip I have is just do the Theater of Blood entry mode ones, and those will give you lots of points. Lots of points.
Yeah.
They're absolutely free.
I still need to go through and do those ones. I just have been lazy.
Well, that might help you on your way to hard diaries.
I am on my way to elite, so.
Oh, okay. You have the hard diary done.
Yeah, I'm actually, let's see. I'm at 185 points to elite, so I haven't done any like the top entry modes or the top ones, and my account's like finally getting to the point where I can do top. I have one top KC in my entire life, and I didn't die, and I felt good about that. It was on this account, so that's cool. Yeah,
easy. Easy peasy.
I recently, because I was looking through to find like the if I could get to elite, and I saw all the entry mode ones. I was like, what are these? These are wacky.
They're free.
They are definitely.
They're free.
As long as you have like even just like one other person that is somewhat familiar with Tob, and I imagine you could probably figure it out yourself as well, because entry mode is kind of a joke.
Yeah.
But if you have like one other person that's kind of more familiar with Tob, it'll make it absolutely free.
Yep. So the medium combat diaries is a absolute must for Barrows, because in going through all 6 of the brothers, I use almost no prayer potions.
Yes, sir. At the point
have,
my account's at, I use literally 0.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't have to, unless you get screwed over and you're just sitting there trying to kill Aram for longer than you should. I don't even use prayer at Guthans, Torag, or Varrock most of the time. If I start getting bodied, then I'll throw it up. But like Darok, Aram, and Carol are the only 3 that I use prayer most of the time.
And fun trick for Aram. If you really are down bad for prayer points and you don't want to lose any, and you're using a 2-handed weapon like an MSB, you can, on Runelight, there's like a timer for when the prayer drain will happen. If you switch back to the medium hilt right before the timer happens, or like a brief period of time before it happens, it will work. There is no delay.
It'll work.
So if you're really down bad, you can do that.
Funny enough, I switched to a crossbow for that exact reason, because I didn't want to have to switch, because I like, of the 140 KC I have, probably, I don't know, at least half to maybe 60% of that KC is done on mobile. And so there's no timer on mobile.
That's fair.
Which really sucks. But that's definitely a great tip, because you can cheese the system a little bit and still have the MSB or a one-handed or a 2-handed weapon rather.
Yeah.
It's not only great for like runes, but the gear progression you get from Barrows is massive if you don't become like Bird.
Yeah,
and
if you do it
massively dry.
Another weird part about it is I think when I started doing Barrows, I already had my Bofa. So like, do it earlier than I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Do it earlier than I did. But like I said, like my account, like, kind of like rushing to Song of the Elves was like my whole thing. So
yeah,
my gear progression is not something that I would recommend other people follow.
Truly.
Yeah.
And if you're a group Iron Man, like, and you have active group mates, it makes Barrows so much more chill.
Oh yeah.
Like I have items that I'm using that I did not have to acquire, although I probably will acquire them at some point. I didn't have to, which made doing Barrows so much easier, because like I have full Darok's top and body, and then Carol's top and body, and so those are my 2 main gear switches, which you can do. You can have a fighter's torso and like rune legs, and you can have full black d'hide. That's fine. I just think using the using the Barrows items at Barrows is a lot of fun.
It's peak, honestly.
So don't sleep on Barrows. Get your medium combat diaries, and if you can, before you start Barrows for the long haul, get the Mauritania hard diary.
Yes.
It's gonna be good because you get 50% extra runes. And one easy way that I got 70 prayer was through the Heroes Guild. So if you are going to make any sort of progress on your account, Heroes Quest is pretty much necessity. I think to get Barrows Gloves, you need the Heroes Quest done. So the basement of the Heroes Guild has a singular blue dragon, and it's in a little cage. You can safe spot it. But if you don't want to have to like go through the rigmarole of getting 70 agility to make Taverly more efficient, you can literally just camp that singular blue dragon in the basement of the Heroes Guild. And then what I did was I used games necklaces to teleport to Barthorpe, and then you go down to the thieves, what do they call it? The Rogue's Den. Thank you.
I gotcha.
Teleport down to the Rogue's Den, and then bank your full inventory of bones, and then literally just run back up. So easy. Yes, it's slow, but I was able to bank the couple hundred bones that I needed to use at the Wildy altar to get 70 prayer. That's probably one of the biggest things that you'll need for the Mauritania hard diary.
Yeah, but I think that was
70
the last
prayer is
one
really
I needed.
nice.
So yeah, 70 prayer is very
It is
good.
clutch. I don't think I'll need to get prayer levels on this account for a while. That's how.
Yeah,
that's how good
I
it
didn't
is.
get any more for a very long time. I didn't get any more until I got an arcane. So
Yeah.
then
So like once you get to the point where you actually need levels to unlock different content, then you'll go for it. But like the highest level for anything that is just kind of free is piety, and that's at 70. So
piety's very good.
easy. Oh, piety. I mean, duh. If you get 70 prayer, then you have piety unlocked. So piety unlocks. I mean, piety is a great
goes
great
hard.
prayer. Yeah, it does. We didn't really touch on it, but a lot of the Gecko and Eligio both said that questing.
Yeah,
is,
I also said quest.
Yeah,
Do
so
your
all
quests.
four of us, because this is one of my points too. So like, quests are essential for any sort of account, but especially Iron Man account. Because you get a lot of XP lamps. They definitely boosted the XP.
Yes.
I think you can actually get 70 agility just by doing quests. It's insane.
I don't know if
'Cause I
that's
watched
true,
solo
but you can get a lot.
Solo Mission did his Quest Cape speed run, and he didn't do
that's true.
almost a single course. He got it all through questing.
Yeah. Throwing on like I said, the early progression of my account was largely based around the optimal quest guide, which I found fun. I would recommend at least hopping on the optimal quest guide at least for a little bit, because the very early quests it has you do are the ones that are like super low requirements, absolutely just mails you XP in like massive packages, you know.
Yeah.
Those early ones are really, really good to knock out because it'll make your early grinds for your other skills much easier because you won't have to start from level 1.
Yeah. Which is great.
Yeah,
I mean,
very good.
like everybody knows Waterfall, Fight Arena, Gnome Stronghold, all those ones for
classics.
combat. But like there's other ones that don't involve, like they're not based around combat. One really great instance of that is Garden of Death is a new
I
quest.
heard you guys talking about that. I didn't even think about
Gives you
that.
10,000.
Yeah.
It gives you 10,000 farming XP. And you only need 20 farming to start that quest.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's crazy. And then I think these are actually yours. The next ones that we're gonna go on to. So if you want to rapid fire some of the ones that you put on there.
Yeah, I just the one I immediately think of is obviously, and I know we were kind of talking about this earlier, but if you hate farming, just do a little bit. Just like, even if it's like once a week, just like pick a couple herbs. You're gonna thank yourself later. Pick a couple herbs, click on a couple trees, just a little bit. I promise you will thank yourself later. And if you hate having to gather compost, it always surprises me how many people don't know this. You can buy pineapples from charter ships, and you can just put those into a compost bin, and that will make you super compost. And then if you're making ultra compost, you just go grab some volcanic ash and shove it into the compost bin. Shove it into the compost bin itself. Don't shove it into the buckets of super compost. It is slightly more efficient and in terms of how much volcanic ash you're using. If you want to just throw it into super compost, you can, but you will save a little bit of ash throwing it directly into the compost bin once it is full of super compost. This
may or may not be common knowledge, and I think it is, but if you have the bottomless compost bucket, it will double the amount of compost that you get from a compost bin, and I believe also buckets.
Yes, everything that is put into it gets doubled.
Yep. So one main strategy that I have employed for my bottomless compost bucket that I got from TMD, by the way, who is the farmer, is to use the giant composting bucket at the farming guild, and you get like 75 charges or something. It's crazy.
Yeah,
from a single composting bin.
I used to, in the middle of my farm runs, I think I'd do like 2 sets of the regular compost buckets. So I have not had to make compost for, I think, legitimately years at this point.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I have had ultra compost forever. I think I'm down to like 2,000 charges, which is like still a lot. So
that is a lot. Oh my gosh, 2,000?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I gathered a bunch of volcanic ash while we were watching. I think we were watching one of the Twilight movies as a joke. And so I was just on mobile every once in a while. I'd look down and be like, oh, I can click on another ash pile, and I just mine volcanic ash for like 3 hours, and I just had a bunch for a long time.
That's awesome.
So
that's funny.
Mobile gaming, it's surprisingly helpful if you're doing something that you can just like every once in a while look down at your phone and click on something in RuneScape. You can make some weird progress on that.
Honestly, dude, I would not have maxed my account without mobile. 100%. You know how like celebrities will do their like acceptance speech, like shout out to mobile.
Yeah,
like,
honestly,
I cannot speak highly enough of it. For me, there are certain people who despise like the AFK-ness of this game, and like that's why they're combat mains and not skillers.
Yeah.
But for me, I love skilling, and it's the only reason I maxed my account.
Yeah.
And with the new mobile UI that is supposed to be here,
not currently in beta because they broke the beta worlds again. But at some point, it looks good. I haven't tried it for myself.
Can't wait.
It looks like
can't wait.
I mean, the current one is usable, but the new one looks like it'll be a lot better. So
much better.
Yeah.
Like I was like, for instance, I just did my entire Black Demons task at Black Demons. I killed like maybe 20 or 30 demonics, but like I was trying to do them on mobile, and it is just so clunky.
Yeah, no,
it's so clunky with prayer on the left, inventory on the right.
I swear off PVM on mobile. I can't be asked. I cannot. It's always.
I think with the new UI.
Yeah, with the new UI, maybe some like lower intensity, not like crazy stuff.
Listen, they're adding with like the new UI. They're adding tile markers. So things like chambers, where there's specific tiles that you need to be on.
Yeah, but
there's specific places you need to stand. Like if you don't want to have to think about it, and all it's going to take
fair,
is...
but I'm always worried about misclicks on mobile. I feel like I tap on the wrong thing all the time.
Okay. So I'll give you this. The reason that I don't have that thought is because I play on my iPad.
That is fair.
I don't play on my phone.
Yeah, I play on my phone.
So
iPad
if I had to play on my phone, I think I would. Exactly. I think I have a different mindset, because when I think of mobile, I don't think of my phone. I think of my iPad.
Yeah, there's been a lot of
so nice.
There's some days at work where we basically do nothing all day. So I just like sit on my phone and play RuneScape the whole day. That hasn't happened in a while, which makes me sad because I really like those days.
Yeah.
But I've had a master clue sitting in my bank for months that requires the staff of Bryophyta. And so my mobile activity is just kill moss giant.
Gotcha. That's easy though.
Yeah, you just
and with the new
tap on
item
moss giants.
ground items plugin, you're not going to miss it.
Yeah, it's true. Most of the time I already wouldn't miss them because I have untradeable drop notifications on. So I'll see it in the chat box. But yeah, finding it was always like, where is that one? I'll have to like
where's that little
tap and hold on like every single loot pile I see.
Not fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Any final thoughts before we send these folks?
No, I think we can go to break. It's been a long time. We should probably do that.
It's great.
I don't have
great conversation.
Much else. I think we've covered it here.
Nice. Well, listen, guys, if you have any questions, hit us up. I mean, don't hit me up because I'm probably in the same boat as you. But if you're in TNL, which you should be, there is an entire channel called Iron Plaza. Plaza or Plaza? What do you say?
I say Plaza. I don't know what's right.
That's like the Midwestern coming out in me. Iron Plaza. It's the Iron Plaza, and it's dedicated to all things conversations about Iron Man. There's zero judgment from anybody here. If you're in there and you have questions like, hey guys, send me your gear setup for whatever. I've had to do that twice now. I got a gear setup for Barrows, and then recently Nico sent me her gear setup for Zulra, which I tried it, Nico, and it did not work.
Hey,
I suck.
Just do what I did. I just did both only. That's really easy, you know?
And with that, folks, we'll say... Just kidding.
I lurk in the Iron Plaza, admittedly. I think I've chatted in there like once, but if anyone is curious, I am watching.
Oh,
I don't chat a lot in TNL, but there are a couple channels that I like lurk in. So.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. You have your own Discord.
Yes.
Which you are active in.
Yes. That one I look at and talk in frequently.
But that being said, if you have any questions, hit us up in TNL. And if you're in the Gothic Rust Discord, go over there and ask Bird specifically.
Yeah, if you want to talk to me more, you'll probably be more likely to get an answer out of me in there.
All right, folks. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on this section. If you want some more fun content, stick around after the break. We'll see you there.
Howdy folks, my name's Prospector Percy and we're looking for some fine young adventurers who want to hone and grind their skills. Now if this sounds like you, then you gotta come on down to Motherlode Mine. Down here we got everything you need to train up them gathering and artisan skills. We got hammers, we got pickaxes, we got dwarves, we got other adventurers, we got a bank, and we got some baby moles. We've even got Grandma! Howdy Grandma! Howdy Percy! You probably gonna come on down here looking for ores, and let me tell you, we got all sorts. We got coal, we got gold, we got mithril, we got adamantite, and even runite. And where do all them there ores come from? Say it with me, fellas. Pay dirt! That's right, folks, them there walls are lined with pay dirt. Mine a bag full and toss them on the conveyor belt. Watch it go down the water. Say hi to the baby mole for me. Once it hits the sack, go mine some more. Load your pay dirt on till the bag is full and fix that dang wheel. When your sack is all full and you're picking through them rocks, you might find some of them there gold nuggets. I'll take them off your hands for all sorts of goodies like bags of gems and bags for coal and bags for more pay dirt. I've even got some fancy mining clothes because who doesn't love a fish and fashion skate? Cart your way down to Fallador to the Mudload Mine just next to the mining guild to make all your pay dirt dreams come true.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial break because I know that I sure did. Ordinarily, it's the part of the show where we would take a second to thank our patrons, but we're going to do that here in just a minute. Right now, I wanted to quickly talk about bingo. So I know it hasn't been talked about as much as we normally do these times whenever bingo is vastly approaching, but the dates for bingo have been announced. Bingo is set to start on October 14th, and it will go until the 22nd. So you'll have plenty of time. I think we usually try and make that at least 2 weekends. So you of the time of bingo, there's at least 2 weekends in there. It'll start on a Saturday and on Sunday. And so 14th through the 22nd. There's some other notable dates here that I wanted to let you guys know about. So October 5th is when signups will close. Should be the evening of October 5th. So we'll have one more week here of allowing for signups. October 5th is when it closes. Your payment for this bingo, we've upped the ante a little bit. Buy-ins will be 3 mil this time, payable to any mod, admin, or maxcape in the clan. If you haven't already, join the Discord, because that's where you'll find the sign-up sheet. If you go to the events chat and see the pinned comments, that's where you'll find the bingo signups pinned there. Oxie posted it. But the payment will be due October 6th, and the draft day will be October 7th. This year, we're doing it a little bit different, and we are requiring the buy-in to be paid in order to be drafted. So if you signed up and you hadn't paid your buy-in, you will not be eligible for the draft. So just keep that in mind. Please, please, please pay your buy-in. Otherwise, you will not be drafted. So Oxie's not here, obviously. And so that means that next episode, at least if you listen to it on the day of release, you guys will still be able to hear us talk about bingo and still have time to sign up. Because like I said, signups will close October 5th. And that's the day the next episode comes out. So again, October 5th, signups close. October 6th, payments are due. Buy-ins are due. It's 3 mil. 7th is draft day. And then you'll have an entire week where we get to hang out as teams in our team chat, strategize. And then I would assume the board will come out a little bit before the event starts. Last year we did it, I think, an hour before the event started. We're still trying to figure out when we'll release the board. But get excited. Bingo is happening. I am going to be a co-captain this year, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm playing on my main. I don't know. Maybe next bingo I'll play on the group Ironman. We'll have to see. I don't think it's not in a place right now where I could play on my group Ironman. I probably would have more fun on my main account. So anyway, that's it for bingo. Now It's the part of the episode where we get to shout out our patrons who support us on patreon.com/Xpwaste. If you are a Wise Old Man patron, that means that you will get shouted out on the first week that you subscribe, and then you'll have your name listed on the shout outs that end up on the screen. So this week, one of our newest Wise Old Man patrons is Dakota. Thank you so much, Dakota. You are our newest Wise Old Man patron. We appreciate you so much. Welcome to the party. And on the screen now is the rest of our Wise Old Man patrons. You guys are amazing. We couldn't thank you enough for your support. Part of the Wise Old Man tier is having access to the recording booth. So he'll hear us speak about so-and-so from the recording booth said this, this, and this. That is people that are listening to us live, hanging out with us while we record, and sometimes getting little sneak peeks of stuff. Thank you so much to our Wise Old Man patrons. Now it is time to shout out the KBD tier, folks. Starting us off in the KBD tier, huge thank you, hugs and kisses, smooches all around. Thank you so much to Broix70, Buckeyes, Oxie's dad, my dad, all of our dad, Damon S, Dicky Bird, Dylan L, Elite Oreo Dunker, XP Enjoyer, Gay Raccoon, Gumby, Legend Gary, Ron Garian, Lil Drakey, Mark aka iStream, Mrs. Oxie M, MT Birchfield, RU Swole's Ankle, our third favorite Patreon supporter Ralph, Rylithian, SatanBot6969, Soggy Waffles, Seppi J, Skooma92, SOS D3, Spartan Fire, The Big G Jordy, The Crayola Crayon, and Toast No Toast. Thank you so very much to everyone in the KBD tier. You guys are amazing. You guys are awesome. Again, this tier, we never thought anybody would subscribe, and now we have so many folks, and we love each and every one of you. If you want to support us, you can do so by checking out patreon.com/Xpwaste. We have tiers ranging from $1 all the way to $25. We still are kind of working out the kinks here on figuring out what the tiers are going to look like as far as what benefits are linked to which. So please bear with us. We're still trying to figure out if we are going to keep doing an extra episode or not. We're going to try and figure out if we can offer merch. There's a lot of stuff. So stick with us here. We'll figure this out soon. It's been a busy time with Oxie, being out for his ankle and bingo. And so just a lot going on. But we promise to have some updates for you soon. I guarantee it. All right, folks. I actually don't have anything else for you. So normally, if this was an episode with me and Oxie, we would read the community question, and then Oxie would go ahead and do the achievement of the week. But he's not here. And so I got his blessing for him and I to do like the most massive achievement of the week next episode when he comes back, because next episode we really won't have a fun question unless we read the ones about stomping pets, which I haven't forgot about. But next week, achievement of the week is going to be pretty beefy. So this is where I'm actually going to send you guys back to the episode with Bird. Thank you so much for listening to this portion, and I'll see you in just a minute. We're back now with the Bird Facts.
It's me.
Registered trademark.
Still here.
Still
You
here.
forgot about
He
me
had
during
left.
all that? Wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
He just
too
didn't
bad.
say anything.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Just kidding.
It's crazy that I just didn't say anything the whole time. I didn't even accidentally make any noise.
Anyway, we got Bird Facts. He's back for the fun question. So, Bird Facts.
Hello.
Do you have a fun question for us today?
I, as we discussed, don't have a particular fun question, but Real Crazy asked in the fun questions chat, which features, races, characters, or lore or locations would you want to take from Baldur's Gate 3 and move on to OSRS, or what would you move from OSRS to Baldur's Gate 3? And I thought we could use that as kind of a baseline to just kind of like talk about maybe not just Baldur's Gate, but things from other video games or, you know, things in the video game that we wish we could do. Because in D&D, when I play D&D, because I play a fair bit of D&D, and Baldur's Gate, you know, is
Lucky
D&D.
man.
Yeah, I don't as much anymore, but I used to play a fair bit. I am very strict. I always pick to play a bird race for obvious reasons. It's the same reason that my name is Bird Facts. I just really like birds.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of birds, to the surprise of nobody. So most of the time I pick Kenku. I have many times in the past picked Aarakocra. I have many times in the past, with the help of my DM, homebrewed a race that is a bird that does not break their balance, because a lot of people don't like Aarakocras because they can fly at first level, and a lot of DMs don't like that. I think it's fine, but I also don't.
DMs need to get off their high horse. Just DM a better game if that bothers you.
As a DM, I know like the limitations and restrictions that I can put on flying. And so when I am like, well, I want to be an Aarakocra, and they're like, well, you can fly. I'm like, well, it's not really that much. I put on the nerd glasses and I'm like, well, it's actually not even that much unbalanced. But it is good. So a lot of DMs don't like Aarakocras at level 1. But yeah, I like being a bird. And
yeah,
I had mentioned that, I like Armadillo. I like the Aviancies. I think they're cool. And if RuneScape had allowed me to, on character creation, if they let you pick different races, I absolutely would be an Aviancy 100% of the time. I just want to be a bird in like every game. That's one thing. I guess that could be one thing I would move from OSRS to Baldur's Gate 3 is Aviancy playable race, because I was very disappointed when we booted up Baldur's Gate and we got to the character creation and I was like, there is no Kenku or Aarakocra. I am sad.
Yeah. You can add, because we talked about it off mic, but you can add mods to the game, and there are certain mod packs that will allow you to add bird races.
Yes, I believe there is.
So for your second playthrough.
Yeah, there is already a mod that adds Kenku, and I think somebody's working on Aarakocra if it's not already out. This was like maybe month-old information that I'm going on at this point. So
gotcha.
I know that Kenku had been added, and somebody's probably added Aarakocra by now. So yeah, for my second playthrough, I will probably be a bird. But there were other things.
Awesome.
There were other things I wanted to do as well. There's a lot of stuff that I'm going to, like I said, tiptoe around since you're still in Act 1. There's some other interesting ideas I have for playthroughs where I want to kind of like mess around with the way they've written their story and how it's all scripted, and I want to see if I can like mess around with it. With like, I want to see if they expected certain character interactions with like certain classes and certain races. I've always wanted to kind of mess around and see what they expected and what they perhaps did not expect the player to do.
Yeah. That brings up a really funny TikTok that I watched. I won't go into the details of what happened because I'm not even there in the game yet. But essentially, Asterion dies. This person kills Asterion in a very, very epic way. Epic, not in a cool sense, but like in a massive way.
Yeah.
They died, and they went back to that guy where you can resurrect teammates, and he comes back and absolutely flames your character. I can I'll send you the video because I don't know if you've seen it or not. Or
I don't think I have
experienced that. I'll send it to you.
We haven't really had anybody die, and if anybody goes down and then dies, I'm playing a cleric, so and because you're allowed you're allowed to switch your prepared spells whenever you want. I'm just like, okay, well, I'll just switch to Revivify real quick and bring them back.
Nice.
Which that might occur. I don't know. Asterion has never died. I've never had to revivify Asterion. So that dialogue may occur when you revivify him, but I kind of doubt it. I imagine they probably plan for people coming back specifically through the resurrection service. And maybe there's special things. Yeah.
So do you want to be a bird more in Baldur's Gate or more in RuneScape?
Probably.
Like which one? If you only had to choose one.
Probably. I mean, okay. Here's a hypothetical for both, right? Because in Baldur's Gate, I can just like mod myself to be a bird, and they might add more races if they ever do like DLC or stuff to Baldur's Gate. I wouldn't be surprised. That was one thing I was kind of not weirded out, but like I was surprised to see there weren't like a lot of exotic races for Baldur's Gate. But I think that's because of the setting. I believe the setting that Baldur's Gate is set in, there's not a lot of. I believe it's the Sword Coast area. There is not a lot of the exotic races there to begin with. The Dragonborn are like the most exotic race, which surprise, I'm a Dragonborn.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I played as Dragonborn because I was like, this is like the coolest race to me. I want to be the Dragonborn. But hypothetically, if I could be a bird in old school RuneScape and nobody else could be a bird, that would be really cool, you know? But if I could be a bird and everybody else could also choose to be a bird, I'd still choose to be a bird in old school as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That like the different planes of I don't want to say planes of existence, but like the fact that you have to load a different instance to go up a level would make that hard.
Yeah.
They're not always like a seamless transition.
Yeah.
So flying would be interesting in that regard, because like what you could just like fly to the top of the agility pyramid. Instant.
I imagine.
GP?
I imagine flying as an Aviancy would not be a thing that they would allow.
Maybe hovering. Like
maybe hovering. That would be funny. If like hovering, I've always thought it would be cool if there were more like flying enemies, and that would be like a use of two-handed weapons, and you could like actually hit enemies with like weapons that have two-handed melee range.
A halberd. Can you not kill Aviancies with a halberd?
I don't think you can. Dumb. I believe any melee weapon you can't. And so it could be kind of interesting to kind of like, you know, it's a trade-off. If you are flying, it's like, oh, well, now if you want to hit anything on the ground, you need to use a two-handed weapon or a ranged weapon. Could be kind of interesting.
Well, you know how clutch it would be for things that have like AoE. I'm like the thing that comes to mind first is like the Warden's fight.
Imagine you could just float
the
there.
P3, P4. Yeah, you don't have to do anything with the ground attacks.
That'd be really funny.
You do have to worry about the boulders though, and then
those would
the
hit you.
overhead prayers. But like the floor attack would just be easy, and then other combat where monsters only attack with melee. You could just range them from afar.
Yeah,
I think really easy.
It would probably be too easy. Obviously, if this in the hypothetical universe that for some reason this was actually added to the game, basically the entire game would need to be rebalanced around the idea that you have the option to be an Aviancy that can hover.
Yeah. Well, okay, so that kind of brings up my answer to this question. The one thing that I would bring from Baldur's Gate to RuneScape is just the ability to play classes in general.
Yeah.
So not specifically a bird like yours, but just classes in general that have their own unique mechanics. So, you know, you have elves and drow and dwarves and dragons, and like you have so many different types of races, some of which we do see in RuneScape, that could have their own abilities. Like as a dwarf, you could have an invisible mining buff that you get from day one without any sort of items. You could have it to where you have better endurance. So, you know, like dwarves are hardy little guys. And so, or maybe that's an elf trait, is like your run energy doesn't deplete as quickly right off the bat without any sort of agility levels. Maybe elves have a range bonus that is invisible right off the bat. But it would just kind of, it would make the game more interesting from a content perspective, because there would be certain things that you are very good at, and there would be certain things that maybe are a bit more challenging. So it would be kind of interesting. So like maybe if you did play a dwarf, maybe you couldn't run as fast. And then things like the Inferno, where you have to follow the shield, that would just be a lot harder. Maybe you couldn't take as many attacks, but your defenses are a bit higher because dwarves are hardy. Just an example. But definitely the ability to choose a race in general, including a flying race, because that adds so much dimension. To just be like 3 feet off the ground, so that melee creatures can't attack you and you can attack them, but your whole account build is kind of buffed, and it could be hindrance in some ways.
I'm sure they could find ways to hinder you if they like thought about it and like design certain pieces of content around like, well, if you're flying here, you get a disadvantage in some way. Like there are things that can only hit you while you are flying.
Yep. Or like your attacks aren't as strong if you're hovering because you're a little less accurate. That could be a good one. Like you basically don't have to use overheads, but you're less accurate overall with your attack. So just classes. Classes are a different.
Yeah, classes are that's a whole totally different discussion. Thing. But I
just race with traits.
Race traits would be cool. I think the way that RuneScape's set up right now, it would be difficult to add that just because, like right now, everybody can always do everything, which is kind of one of the unique parts I like about RuneScape is the fact that there are no like races or classes means that any one account can do all of the same things that another account can do. So there's no like missing out for making the wrong choice.
True.
That is part of it that I like. It's something that could be interesting to play with for like maybe a leagues, because we kind of already do like classes a little bit for leagues, right? Like for Trailblazer, you take the ranged mage or melee relic. Like that's kind of picking a class. And it's something that I always thought would be interesting for perhaps like a raids concept, where when you enter a raid, when you enter this new like hypothetical raid, everybody has to like pick a role. And then like you have to you get like certain like items or whatnot that, you know, directly affect the way your character specifically plays during that raid. And so it kind of makes it makes like more specific roles. Because like for something like Theater of Blood, right? Like you have, for just to pull a random example that I can think of, you have the freezer role at Maiden. And so that's like kind of sort of getting towards what I'm thinking of, where like everybody has a specific job that they need to do. And like at Chambers of Zarek, you know, you have someone skipping, you have runners, and then you have someone camping melee hands. So like there's all these kind of roles, but they're all very limited in what they do, and they're not very different. Obviously, you're still just doing normal RuneScape things. It would be interesting.
Anybody can do it.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see where like, because obviously I don't think we'd ever see them add these things to the game as a whole, because I feel like that's kind of part of RuneScape's identity, is that you can do everything. But perhaps in these certain activities, they'd make it so you have to, at the start of the activity, everybody picks a role, and that kind of determines a more specific thing that they have to do within the activity. I think that could be very interesting.
I can hear the people now. They're screaming into their speakers in their car, and they're yelling at you. They're saying, "Bird, that's just dungeoneering."
From what I remember of dungeoneering, no. Everybody still kind of does everything in dungeoneering. Maybe it changed since when I played. I played dungeoneering at its release. And
I remember bringing this up, and somebody in the recording booth was like, "That's just dungeoneering."
Yeah, I don't know that it is. From what I remember of dungeoneering, it was more Gauntlet style, where it's just you enter a place and you have to gather materials and solve puzzles to get through rooms, which is not a thing in Gauntlet, but there were like puzzle rooms, there were combat rooms, and there was a boss at the end, and then you'd go down to the next floor. You were still playing RuneScape the same way you would in any other combat encounter. It's just it was dungeon themed. It was based around, you know, exploring the dungeon and figuring it out. So I think that a class-based dungeoneering thing could be interesting, and maybe that did exist when I played, and I just don't remember it, or it did exist past the point when I finished playing RS3, which is very briefly after dungeoneering came out is when I quit.
I have no idea. I have not played RuneScape 3 to any extent since like 2012, I think.
Yeah,
so it's been a long time.
It was right around when dungeoneering came out. I thought dungeoneering was really fun. I was really enjoying it. And then who knows what happened back then, but I just like quit playing RuneScape forever and didn't come back till like 2018, I think, was when I started playing Old School. So, as a side note, I am for Dungeoneering in Old School, just not as a skill. I don't think it needs to be a skill.
Yeah, I would agree. I think a mini game or an activity, but not
because as I said on
skill.
the last half, I'm a big Gauntlet enjoyer, probably because it scratches the same itch that Dungeoneering did for me back in the RS3 days, and to see it kind of expanded more, to see Gauntlet or some activity similar to it expanded to be more similar to the way dungeons would generate in Dungeoneering, I think it would be fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think that like RuneScape 3 in general just gets bad rap. So like
they have there's a lot of cool ideas in RS3.
It is cool.
There's a lot of bad ones as well. But that's also true of Old School. They've added some banger updates and they've added some kind of weird ones.
Listen, if you take, and this is a genuine opinion, if you take microtransactions out of RuneScape 3, I feel like a lot of people would play that.
They'd probably be more
Old School.
interested, yeah.
Yeah. There would be a genuine interest to play that version of RuneScape that we all grew up with. In some ways, like the nostalgia factor is still in the back of your mind with Old School, but that's just for how it looks. With things like the HD client and the 117 plugin or RuneLite, it kind of like negates that a little bit. Yeah. I don't play with the 117 on. To me, it looks like it's deep fried.
I tried 117 for a little bit. It looks kind of cool, but it's not something I'd play with all the time.
Yeah, and it's hard for me to switch back and forth because like on my laptop, where I do most of my AFK stuff, it won't run 117 smoothly, and so on my PC it does, but I don't want to have to like visually switch back and forth.
Yeah, I ended up just never. I used it for a little bit. I was like, this is kind of cool, and then I just stopped using it. It's cool though. Like,
yeah. SOSD3 says in the recording through chat, if they took the microtransactions out of RS3, Jagex would be a dead company.
Probably true.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, they're doing it to make their money. You got to have a little
Hero
bit of
Pass, baby. Let's go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? We voted with our wallets. Not we. RS3 voted with their wallets and they succeeded. So they got it taken out, which is great. Applaud to you guys.
Yeah, that's something I always like, kind of trailing back all the way to the beginning where I was talking about I have a game dev major. It's kind of changed the way I think about the way games are developed now that I know a bit more about the inside process. And of course, anybody can come to this conclusion, but a lot of what drives video games to be what they are is, unsurprisingly, money.
Yeah.
Companies and even just solo developers need money to exist. And so
capitalism, baby.
When something will make them money, they're going to add that. And so when microtransactions in RS3 make them money, they're going to keep them in there. And to tangent off to a kind of dark area, I don't know how many people have heard about this, but Jagex is going to be an open company soon. They are looking to sell and go from being a private company to being a public company.
Carlyle.
They're looking to go
Carlyle Group.
Yeah, they're looking to go public.
Wow.
And this is admittedly terrifying to me because the moment that shareholders are involved, the way decisions are made are significantly different.
Yeah.
And I fear greatly that Old School is going to see more and more monetization because shareholders are going to see this very large active player base, larger than the RS3 one, and say, why aren't we monetizing these people?
Yep.
And
bro, that just...
I am pretty convinced.
I hate it.
I am pretty convinced that the most of the Old School RuneScape player base will probably just leave. And the shareholders will realize that they just ruined the company. But that is optimistic for me. A lot of players are too addicted to this, are very addicted to this game, probably too addicted, and will just deal with the fact that microtransactions exist. I'm a very hard stuck vote with your wallet kind of guy. I used to play a lot of Destiny 2, not as much anymore, but I have not spent a single penny on the microtransaction currency in Destiny because I just am fundamentally against it.
Same.
It's if they added monetization, I'd be gone. See ya. I hope that they realize that they would be squandering a lot of their player base, and I hope that that's enough of a deterrent for them. But it's just something I've been thinking about.
Yeah,
that is moderately terrifying.
I think I would hope that the current like game devs and like leadership within the old school team know enough about its player base and what we've kind of stood for the last 10 years to know that that's not going to happen, even if the shareholders want it.
I think most,
because you have to. Yeah,
I think most everybody at the Jagex offices understands the relationship that microtransaction and old school has, but they don't have investor pressure right now. And investor pressure does a lot to a company. We've seen it time and time again over the years. So it's a weird spot that old school might be going into, and it has me worried. I hope that the developers and higher ups at Jagex will make the right decision, even when/if Jagex goes public and they start getting that investor pressure. But I don't know if they'll be able to. It's hard to say. I don't know what the power dynamic between the investors and the higher ups at Jagex will be like. It's impossible to know, and it just has me worried.
Damn. This is supposed to be the fun question.
Yeah.
Now I'm sad.
Yeah. I feel like it's something that's important to talk about,
It is very important.
It's very possible that the deal might not even go through and they might remain private, which I kind of doubt. Most likely they are going public, and it's something we got to think about.
Bro, you know what we need to do? We need to band together as a community.
Everybody, instead of adding microtransactions and us paying for them, what if we just buy their shares instead?
Yes. And then we are the shareholders. But I guess we could get money.
Yeah.
We can get money from
right now.
that
We're kind of
deal.
shareholders because everybody pays for RuneScape membership.
True.
That is in a very, very, very tiny way kind of being a shareholder.
We pay, we say.
True. Yeah.
Well, that was a fun question followed up by
a
just a
dreadful
depressing
thought.
sandwich. Yeah. That's the absolute worst case scenario. There are good.
There's definitely a lot of good things
about
that
it.
could come from this.
So,
but
obviously the game could get more funded, and then that means that they have more time to devote to bigger updates.
Maybe they'll have a QA team for once. Maybe that'll happen. I doubt it.
Yeah.
But
maybe you and I could be their QA team.
I'd be down.
I would honestly. I've thought about the fact that like I could play test this game. Like if they paid me to just like abuse mechanics.
If only there was like this separate type of world that they could put incoming changes on.
Oh my gosh.
That would allow the players to like see what would happen if things would be
QA
added to the
testers.
game. Wouldn't
If
that be crazy?
If only. Well, on that note, thank you, Bird. Thank you so much for coming on.
It's been awesome.
Thank you. This was a little last minute, so I do appreciate you taking time out of your day to come and be on the show. So I'm going to send the people off. But before I do, I want you to be able to plug anything you'd like to plug here. I don't know what the listenership is like this late in the episode, but we hope people are still listening. So where can people find you?
I mean, for those that are still listening, appreciate it. I am on the Gothic Rest podcast. Spara usually does all the reads for where we are, but you can.
Okay.
I am so not involved with the whole production of Gothic's Rest. It is insane how much he lets me get away with. I'm just basically on the podcast. That is all. But if you're looking for us, you can find us. I know on YouTube because I used to manage that one. It is just at Gothic's Rest is the because they have handles on YouTube now. If you just go to youtube.com/@Gothic's Rest, you will find our YouTube channel. And from there, we have links to various other places. We're on Spotify,
Nice.
We're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Pocket Casts. There's Twitter, there's a Ko-fi. We got all kinds of things. You can find your way from there. I think our Twitter has like our link tree. If you're interested, you can find us. I would not recommend listening on YouTube because I have not added all of the episodes to YouTube. Our biggest platform is Spotify. If you go to Spotify and find. Do we have like a direct link?
Generally,
to
if you just type in
if
like old school RuneScape, they'll probably pop up.
If you just
But
like
obviously,
if I type in
the Guthix Rest.
Guthix Rest. What even is any of this?
Oh no,
we're down there. No, I found us. You'll probably be able to find us. Oh, it's because it's showing like artists and then albums and then playlists and then for podcasts, we're first for that, obviously. So
hell yeah. So the two that I would ask, do you have a Patreon, correct?
Yes.
People can support you
I
guys
think it's
there.
just directly.
Do you know the link?
I think it's just patreon.com/GuthixRest. I believe it's that one.
Okay, and then you guys have your own Discord. Do you have a custom link yet for Discord? Or will they find your Discord link in your link tree?
The Discord link.
You guys have 0 boosts, so you don't have a custom
we don't have
link.
a custom link.
But for fun, I'll put a link to y'all's Discord.
Yeah, I'm sure
in
the link
the
is
description.
There.
Yeah, I'll put it in the description of this episode.
I'm 99% sure it's in the link tree. So if you're able to find your way to there, you will be able to find your way to our Discord. And you can
guys blow up their
hang out.
Discord, join, ask all the questions. They do okay. So for Xpwaste, you have to be a patron to listen in live. But for the time being, as of the time of recording, anybody can listen in live on their recordings.
Yes, sir.
They just have a broadcasting channel where they do a stages thing. So if you guys want to listen to them record the episode live, then head over to their Discord.
And I will say this for the live listeners. This won't matter as much to people that are listening to the episode recorded. But this upcoming Wednesday, Sebe is going to be on our podcast. So that one is
a
little exciting.
The Wednesday after this episode. So this episode is going to air this coming Thursday.
So the Sebe podcast will have already happened, and that will be being uploaded on the following Tuesday. I don't know what our plan is for the one after that.
Yeah. So check out the next episode of the Guthix Rest for the absolute madness that we'll be having Sebe.
I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not too worried about it, but I know Spari is he's been a Sebe enjoyer for a very long time.
Yeah.
So he's super nervous about it, and it's really funny.
Oh.
He's very
You're going to do great, Spari.
Yeah, he's going to do great, I'm sure.
Great.
As I've mentioned before, I live under a rock when it comes to old school content creators. So
yeah.
Sebe is just like another dude to me. We're just gonna chill.
Well, that's good. You just have that whole mindset going into it.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. All right, XP Wasters. It is now time to close out the show. So thank you so much. If you've made it this far and you continue to listen, you know where to find us. We have all of the links you could ever want there down in the description. I will say, let's see. We've been talking about merch the last couple of weeks, and the artist who was our tattoo artist has finished the Zulrah design, and I just need to send him money, and I'm pretty sure he'll send us the files.
Ooh.
So there is a good chance. I'm not going to say there is like a guarantee, but there is a good chance that if you visit xpwaste.shop, that we'll have new shirt designs on the merch store. And if not, I guarantee it by next week's episode. So check out our merch. Join the Discord. You can support us on Patreon, all that kind of fun stuff. And listen to Guthix Rest, posting most Tuesdays.
Sometimes not on Tuesday because Spari gets lazy and doesn't finish the recording.
Posted
as far as my
midweek.
understanding goes, it is because he is lazy. He has admitted to me that editing the episodes does not take very long, and he just procrastinates.
Oh my gosh,
which
sorry.
is very relatable, so I don't blame him for it at all.
Yeah, that's so fair. Anyway, folks, thank you so much. We'll catch you later. Love y'all, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.